at what's happened since last session. So you guys have been out. Technically, we'll give you a little bit of time before you depart for Japan, in case you want to try to, tell people what they maybe should do, direct people a certain way for the police action. But for the most part, things are going to happen while you're not there, as you could expect, because of the case that you took. The cases that you didn't take will be kind of like playing in the background, not like dramatically so. Like you won't come back to Stella Marie's on fire, but
But
I guess
every
I
other
shouldn't.
case.
I shouldn't maybe make promises I can't keep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
we're gonna come back, it's gonna be on fire.
every other case is Nazis, Dagonites, the mafia, everything else basically. So could be on fire.
It's gonna be on fire.
Police are going to try to counter the corruption of the Dagonites currently going on, like the rise in power. Ooh, actually, I'll let if one of you spend a fate point, the police actually will be able to push back against the rising tide of corruption, no pun intended, of the Dagonites for now. So just to start out, this would be considered in narrative terms. One of your characters is kind of like pushing extra hard, leading the way, or directing the police forces towards Dagonite hotspots, or like giving them intel on like what Dagonite activity they should be looking out for, that sort of thing. So okay,
Yeah,
then
why not?
you spend a fate point. What is it that you invoke off of your sheet that gives them kind of like a special level or an advantage, do you think? Let's just say, for example, because you're an unorthodox, eccentric doctor, maybe you are able to spot like hidden Dagonite medical facilities where they're like, trafficking whatever bioweapons or otherwise like dealing in like any number of things. Could be organ theft, could be Dagonites tend to focus on things that are like biomedical, drugs, things like that, things that are like what you would consider, like we were just talking earlier about wetware.
Yeah.
That's what they like to deal in, that sort of stuff. So
Well, even my drive would work here.
sure, whichever one you pick is going to be the one that kind of like affects how that outcome is. I'll say it like that. So if you choose the extraction of corruption, you may have an additional opportunity to lower the corruption rating in the city temporarily. I'll say if you choose
Okay.
that one.
Yeah, I'll choose that one before we leave.
Okay, if you're invoking that and spending a fate point, then the Dagonites cleaning up the corruption is a passive role, so they had police had to beat a 6 for that. So it took quite a few man hours and a lot of resources, and kind of like listening to their consultants in the AQUA Unit, which specifically Ice Peak, and her ability to sniff out corruption. And over the course of, we'll say, a day or so, several operations by the Dagonites are disabled temporarily. You sniff out some of the secret hiding holes that they had, safe houses, and as a result, the corruption level of the city actually drops to medium, and the Dagonites lose 1 point of influence. You are also going to be, you can add this to your sheet as an aspect for now. You're a Dagonite Consultant. That means that whenever there is a roll against the Dagonites for the cops, you can step in like you just did, or you can even substitute one of your roles for the police's like stat. So even if the police have 1 and you plan to use your expertise to help the police, you can use an approach that you have, such as, what do you have on your sheet? Brain trust or multi-surgery or something like that, to assist the police if they really, like, when they really need it. So you are there. You can even put in parentheses police, just so you know and they know. But yeah, that'll give them an extra edge in the future against attacks and all sorts of bad shit that happens in the city. In the meantime, because you and the police, and I'm assuming the rest of the AQUA Unit, of course, have like trying to put away a few things before you actually like head out. The Valentine clan is going to attempt to um, make any sort of move on their end. One of their remaining top moving individuals, you know him as Thomas Two-Tone. There he is. He is going to attempt to do just exactly what I was just saying and assist them by creating an advantage with his upside down. Can he do it? Nope, he sure can't. Thomas Satone tries to make like powerful moves basically to overcome like an obstacle. But it seems like Valentine Clan just can't like deal with the oncoming pressure of this Dagonite business that has everybody buzzing. As a result, let's see if any of the other clans can move up. I'm just gonna roll them to see how they do against a we'll say 1. Only Jaguar clan might be moved. Yeah, only Jaguar clan is able to. Well, let's see what the Mafia does, because they're also kind of technically competitors. Yikes. Okay, so only Jaguar clan gets to move up. But so in the kind of ruckus and the fact that the Valentine clan is being clamped down by all this incoming action, Valentine clan doesn't lose their footing, but Jaguar clan does rise up, and the police are now considered on par with the Valentine clan in terms of influencing local geopolitics and kind of street level stuff. So that could be good and bad, by the way, because another thing is you have given the police more power technically in this, but as I mentioned before, there is an issue of police corruption, and if they roll higher, then yeah, the corruption level goes back to high. So maybe one day you'll be able to push that back and forth. If anyone wants to try to invoke on a roll of police versus police, this is like maybe your opportunity to do it before you leave. But unless you do, the corruption level is going to stay at high. So, would anyone like to try to step in to help the police against? I guess the only person that's really well, there's a few of you that are sort of qualified for that. But which one of you wants to try to do something about the police corruption, or at least like make note of it, or otherwise prepare any cops that are going to have to handle that while you're away from town? Towner could be one, for example. Towner, you've kind of like dealt with a little bit of police intimidation tactics. Blue has technically dealt with corrupt cops within the force that are not like on specifically on the take like she is, or like might be corrupted through different means, including the quote unquote Nazis that exist within the department.
I'll take a shot at it.
Enya, okay. Go ahead, and you are going to try to roll against a 4. Give me a connect roll. You're trying to beat a 4. You burn 2 fate points, but otherwise, your attempts to kind of like communicate with officers, try to like raise awareness about like potential corruption, who to report it to, that sort of thing. They're heard. People nod and tell you, yeah, sure, but possibly behind your back, they're either shaking their heads because they don't want to put their necks on the line, or they themselves are helping to spread corruption throughout the police force. So you can try to invoke twice to meet that and stem the tide, but it's going to obviously take some kind of extra special convincing.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to burn up 2 fate points. I'll invoke. Oh my god. Her motto?
Okay, what's that?
Everyone has a use. Maybe she'll try to suggest some things that, well, she wouldn't even really know who the corrupt cops are.
Yeah,
Just realized.
that's the problem.
But I mean, making friends with them is kind of good.
If you want a suggestion as to what the second thing is you can invoke, you're a skull coordinator, which means you're tough. And when people push back or try to brush you off, maybe you're like persistent in trying to get everyone on the same page, raise awareness about an issue that you want people to pay attention to, or otherwise like move them towards a goal. Skull coordinator. There you go. So it's your kind of who you are as in battle, and this is kind of a social battle.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay. One last thing before you um, accept that result. There is a pushback at some point. Just give me a roll of something against a 1. Let me see. I'll let you roll suppress against that. It seems like a slam dunk. You should be able to. You do. There are attempts to kind of once you successfully raise enough like awareness levels, you notice that the result that you get happens. Like police corruption is tamped down a bit. In fact, the corruption score of the city goes back to medium. Not because you're getting more good guys, though. It's because the black hats in this situation, once you start raising enough of a stink, are keeping things more hush hush at the moment. Maybe until this Dagonite situation shakes out properly, or whatever the clash is with the Valentine clan. But for now, corruption is will be quieted down, especially because your unit was just involved in a somewhat high profile event, which was the thing with Poppy. So seeing that you are making something of a noise about it, the higher ups, whoever's involved with police corruption, is trying to keep the heat down. So you go. There's your results for the rolls. However, just so you know, your attempts to fight back against police corruption will paint a target on you. So just like how Ice Peak getting involved with anti-Dagonite operations will result in Dagonites knowing or eventually figuring out that, when it comes to cutting off the head of the snake, if they were to take care of this person quietly, maybe it would be a little bit harder to stop them from whatever it is that they want to do. Likewise, if you're a goody goody trying to stop police corruption, you may wake up with a seahorse head in your bed or something. Who knows?
Fucking rude. Is that a reference to freaking Godfather?
The Godfather? Yes, it is.
Oh my god. Okay.
Just a tiny, tiny little seahorse head.
Very tiny seahorse head. Yeah.
It's very personal though. All the same. Also, aw.
But setting these things aside, we'll say that maybe between the last time you spoke to Sunny and when you are to depart, I mean, obviously you'd need like some time before you can go. We'll say roughly, I don't know, what, 3 days maybe sound reasonable? I mean, in the real world, these sorts of things that have to be set up like weeks and weeks and weeks in advance. But it's JoJo, so we're going at the fucking speed of light, breakneck speeds. Before any of you leave the city for Japan, is there anything that you want to do, check in on? Anything around the city that maybe you wanted to follow up on? Any preparations that you need to make? If not, I will probably look at a few of your sheets and make sure that there is nothing.
I mean, Enya's probably gonna want to check in with that shaman guy to let him know, like, hey, gonna go to Japan. Is there anything I should know about that place?
You know what? The shaman will probably tell you a bunch of nonsense, but go ahead and roll a negotiate against a passive difficulty of 3. You succeed. The shaman will give you 2 doses of ozone. Just give them to you. He says that's what you need.
Oh, no. Well, she's gonna pocket it because you never know. It's Japan.
Okay. Good. Then that'll work out for you, possibly. Another thing before you leave, you will get one of you will get a phone call from an unknown number. That one person that gets the call is Blue. Blue, you're gonna get a phone call at some point from a man that you recognize pretty well. His name is Rumor Rascal. He is calling you directly. He is requesting something of you. If you don't comply with this, he promises that you will regret that. He just wants you to get him a thumb drive from a elderly Japanese businessman who happens to be passing through your destination. How he knows where you're going, you really can't be sure. And what he needs from that thumb drive, you also don't know. His description of this old Japanese man is just that he's sweaty and weak and very, very old. And in the words of Rumor Rascal, shitty at fighting. Basically, he's asking you to roll someone for corporate info. Will you agree to his task, or will you? Well, I guess it's up to you during the mission. But specifically, if you see a sweaty, weak, shitty-looking man, you're supposed to rob him of a thumb drive on his person.
Oh, so this will be while I'm in Japan.
While you're in Japan. This is what Rumor Rascal asks of you.
I mean, can I ask him more about what it's about?
Yeah, when you ask him what it's about, there's about a solid minute of silence, and then you hear, "Fuck you," and then he hangs up. That's it.
I guess for now I'll play it by ear, or since he hung up on me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll see what I see when I'm there.
Good. You know personally from your dealings with Rumor Rascal that if he promises to make someone's life miserable, he can absolutely do that. He absolutely has done that, and there's a reason why the samurai even don't particularly like having to fucking deal with him and his nouveau rich faction. They're kind of like wild animals in a way, because they'll latch onto a target organization, and no matter how structured they are, the sheer amount of fuckery that they seem to introduce to the situation usually just hurts profits immediately, and in the long run can cripple an enemy organization. It's seemingly in a like a mutually assured destruction scenario where one side has to eventually pull out and withdraw from whatever it is that the conflict is about. It's part of what's made the nouveau rich faction so resilient in light of all the invading samurai forces and little groups and everything. It's one of the reasons why Rumor Rascal is as rich as he is. Actually, not only does he do this on a personal level, he does it with lawsuits as well. You know, you'll be tied up in court for quite some time because of this stupid asshole. Supposedly, is what people will complain about this guy, but you also know from your experience, Rumor Rascal is the only way to describe it is genius level intellect at a disturbing tier of intelligence. He's very frightening for a lot of reasons, but as long as you stay on his good side, it's not bad.
Okay, well, she's definitely gonna be leaning towards doing it for him, but she's gonna like check it out as much as she can, I guess.
Okay, and then finally, I will say, Claudia, you have your kids' care, I guess, all taken care of. Towner, is there anything you need to take care of?
Nothing really comes to mind. No.
Okay. Mikey, is there anything you want to do with that thing you have in the microwave?
Leave it.
Just leave it there? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's literally wrapped in like duct tape and like aluminum foil and like the police caution tape, and it's just
Okay.
sitting in the inventory or in evidence. So, in theory, nobody should mess with it, but that could clearly change.
All right. Well, as you're preparing to leave, give me an all-seeing eye roll. Like sort of as you're going through the police department. There's something off about some of the people in the office or in the precinct, but you're not quite sure. It's just like something that ticks your peripheral vision in a way. Like you'll notice like a strange movement or an odd behavior, but it's hard to actually like focus on it because there's so much going on, and they must be quite subtle, basically. You can spend a fate point to pass that roll if you'd like, which you would, or you can just let it slide there.
No, I want to learn more.
Okay. You can also succeed with a cost. I'll give you that option. If you see this, it'll see you.
Oh, I don't like the way that's phrased. I'd rather just pay a fate point.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
just want to see it.
Pay a fate point.
Do I though? Last time that happened. Well, actually, I was gonna say last time that happened, but I think the last time that happened, I met Lewis. So
Yeah. So what are you going to invoke?
could I invoke my bloodline?
Sure. You invoke that you are an eye to notice strange happenings around you.
Yeah.
At least 3 of the officers. You know what? I'm actually going to roll for this because fuck it. 4 of the officers are looking very strange and skittish at points whenever they pass under a bright light, they just kind of like hide their eyes. One of them is wearing sunglasses. Another one has a visor of their hat down over their eyes. They seem to be not too keen on looking directly at bright light.
Okay, and I haven't noticed this before in them.
Likely not. No.
Would that be a side effect of ozone use?
That is a possibility, but without making them do a drug test or giving them a direct examination, it could be difficult to pin it down like that in a way, So you kind of like have that
I can't
option
go
if you'd
chasing
like,
people
but
down for drug tests.
you sure can
because-
if you want. Just knock them out and steal their pee or their hair. I guess just cut their hair off. Knock them out in the closet. Cut their hair off. Leave them in there.
That sounds rude.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just make a note of it, and make a note of like who they are.
The officers in question mostly seem to be kind of rank and file people, not necessarily rookies, but not necessarily seasoned veterans. These are people that are probably in the mid-tier of pay range. Thus, depending on how long they are there, sometimes those types of people are vulnerable to corruption. I mean, everyone kind of is. When you're in the mid-tier, it's like you're kind of between pay grades. So you want to move up, but maybe you can't because old guys are in the way, and it gets, if you're greedy, you may take a shortcut to supplement your income, which usually comes out in the form of either taking private security jobs or taking bribes of some kind. In this case, usually it doesn't involve taking drugs, though, so that may strike you as a bit odd. Who knows? If there are any additional actions that you'd like to take in light of that, feel free to suggest them. Otherwise, it'll just have to be, I guess, a note in your police files, which I'm guessing are not kept on your servers or anything.
I mean, he would probably just make a note of who it was, or like who he saw or noticed. But he'll probably check up on it when we get back. They've gotten better or worse. Because if they've gotten worse, then it might be drug addiction. If they're still kind of the same, then it's probably something else that isn't causing such immediate damage to their bodies.
Right. It's possible that perhaps if you knew a little bit more about kind of the medical outcomes of some of the problems that you're dealing with, you would have a better idea of what it is that you're dealing with. As in, there were people on the side chatting about whether it's ozone or vampires. If you knew more about vampires or ozone, it's possible you'd know that. But because you don't, unfortunately for now, it'll just have to be a bit of a mystery. But you and the AQUA team together have all done certain things throughout the course of the past few days that have helped to maybe help the city, again, not burn down by the time you get back. It seems that things are becoming increasingly chaotic. And there was a certain tone to what Sunny Fortuna told you on that rooftop, told all of you about how the law there are weak points within it, how there are things that move into the cracks of society itself. In his case, it's a corporation, but as you've seen throughout the past few sessions and some of the things that you've dealt with so far, it's also just organized crime moving into these weak points in the city and these cracks, these fissures, like rats. They infest various aspects and functions of the city. They reproduce, they grow, they swell, they consume resources, and eventually they weaken the entire infrastructure and bring it down into a total collapse. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Sunny Fortuna has promised that Dorobo Corporation will help to assist in your efforts with the city if you carry out a task for him that happens to be something he needs in Japan proper, that requires travel, and for some reason seems to require the services of your merfolk cops, things that he didn't want to either pay outsiders to do, or maybe feels that he can trust you to accomplish with discretion, of course. That in mind, let us move over to the current map. So traveling to Japan requires that you meet Sunny around the beach site. So I believe we said the beach was at that second X. No. The second X was where you almost got eaten. This first little squiggly, spirally line is right around where the settlement is for Dorobo Group. Everything past that, water. Still haven't painted in or fixed this map, but I will one day. Sure will. The orders or the travel arrangements are simply bring luggage, pack light, 1 week stay in Japan in a place called Morio. Any other arrangements or requirements that you need, you can make through Sunny himself. You have his contact information, though his card is cursed. You can use it now without worrying about having to eat odd objects. It is perhaps that you have been around the curse for long enough, or otherwise not vulnerable to it collectively at the moment. Is there anything any of you feel like you want to do before you go, or ask Sunny? Because the setup is actually quite simple for your travel. It's just the beach. It is at night. There is a teddy bear, and he is just waiting by some what apparently would look a bit like almost tiki torches or braziers, just burning kind of in a ritualistic manner. There is a bejeweled skeleton that seems to be mounted on a wooden podium as if giving a speech, but that may or may not be related to what he is doing. He won't exactly say outright what is with the weird skeleton.
Even if we ask.
Well, do you want to ask him?
Yes.
Okay, you have to roll to it. Yeah, you have to roll to do it if you want to ask him. What would you like to roll for it? Would you like to be forceful, or would you like to simply ask politely?
I'd like to ask politely.
Okay, go ahead and roll
Connect.
unimposing.
Okay.
Actually, a good roll. Sonny will inform you. It's just for decoration, and then he'll smile. Apparently, from what you can tell, he may or may not be serious about this, but because you asked so nicely and are very convincing, this seems to be his non-hostile reply to you on that.
Oh, noted. She'll thank him. But yes, on to focusing on the business. They're here.
Right. To drop you off, probably we'll say it's like Clint drops you off. Just drives you in a van over there. Make sure that you have everything packed and secured. Offers some audio books on chip and in paperback format for how to speak Japanese, as well as an etiquette guidebook and that sort of thing. As soon as he pulls up to the beach, starts to sweat and then wipes his sweat and then looks down at the sweat and then says, hey, am I bleeding? Oh, I think I'm bleeding. And then he wipes his sweat again.
He seemed cursed now?
He's just sweating. It isn't blood, but he seems to be convinced that he's bleeding, that the sweat is blood. Ah, that's weird. I think I need to go to my physician for a checkup. I'm not supposed to be sweating blood.
I think perhaps you should leave this place.
Oh,
Probably get that checked out.
yeah, I should. Also, for some reason, I feel like I need to, I don't know, walk in the water while carrying a heavy stone? Is that like, maybe I saw that on an exercise show or something. Yeah, that sounds like it'd be good exercise.
You do not need to do this.
Do not do it.
Well, if you say so. All right, guys. I'm gonna just drop you off here. For some reason, I feel very afraid right now. I know I don't really sound like it because, I'm trying to keep my chin up. But boy, I'm spooked. Real scared.
Yeah, that's actually really good control of yourself if that's how you actually feel.
Couldn't be more scared. Absolutely terrified. It's the spookiest thing I think I've seen in a long, long time. He's still smiling, of course.
We can probably walk the rest of the way if you... Yeah, maybe it's best if we just do that.
Oh, no, I couldn't dream of it. I'll fight back against the terror and simply give you a ride closer to the location. Although I really wish they'd turn down all the terrible screaming. It's supposed to be music, I guess, but it just sounds like the Wails of the Damned or something. All right, let's just pull over. He's just going to take a very slow right turn. Still sweating profusely.
It's a really different culture. Maybe this is also decoration for them? Who knows?
He will drop you off fairly close to the Dorobo transportation site is the only way that you could probably, I guess, describe it. He is now pale and clammy. It seems to be have broken out in a cold sweat.
Please leave quickly.
Okay, well, I have to observe the speed limit, but yes, I will return to my job.
Drive carefully.
He just closes the door and then goes in reverse and keeps going in reverse. He reverses all the way back along the same way he was driving.
And you're staring at this with concern.
Sonny sees this happen from where he's standing next to the teddy bear and kind of goes, huh. Wow. Well, some people are more vulnerable than others. So it's like an allergy, you know?
Will he be all right?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, exposure usually at that level comes from proximity. So if he manages to get away, get a good night's sleep, maybe talk to a priest or something, he should be fine, I imagine. Yeah. Sonny kind of just looks at all of you and then kind of raises a hand. See, curses are like radiation in a way. A curse is a scar upon the psychic weave, the great collective mind, whatever you want to call it. It's trauma, just continues to radiate pain and misfortune, usually repeating whatever caused it to be placed there in the first place. It's it's a bit of a loop in a way, an act. How do I say it exactly?
A literal manifestation of generational trauma?
Yeah, sure. That's definitely one thing that a curse can be. My specialty, of course, is curses, and that's really why I've requested that you all be here for this mission to go to Japan. See, Japan is full of these curses, these scars upon the psyche. You know, through various war crimes and atrocities and, well, wars and, monsters and all sorts of things. Eventually, it just grows to be a bit much. All that trauma has to go somewhere. And on top of that, actually, I guess I shouldn't say too much yet. Don't worry, you won't go in blind or anything. I'll make sure of that. But there will be some other types of things involved regarding curse. How vague can I be about this? Okay, Sonny, being vague doesn't always mean lying or deceiving. Sometimes it means saying part of the truth now and then the other part of the truth later when it's more convenient.
That's very.
Shh.
Did you just say that out loud?
Yes, he did, and then he just shushes you if you say anything. He corrects himself. Finally, kind of adjusts his suit that he's wearing. Very good. So let's just say that
We're going in to help alleviate some of this trauma, right?
yeah, sure. I like that. Let's go with that. Yeah, you're going in to alleviate some of the trauma. Yeah, that's right. You'll be helping people. You'll be doing good things, and maybe retrieving something that fell out of the sky. I don't know. We'll find out.
Sounds like fun.
Enya's
It-
perked up.
It could be. It could be a lot of fun. Japan is actually a really cool place. We've got these tiny little boxes that we put food into.
Bento?
Nope. Okay, who's ready to go?
I am.
He points towards the teddy bear. All you have to do is simply walk behind the teddy bear, and you'll be right where you want to be. Well, if where you want to be is in Japan, of course.
Okay, so do we have to think about it? Or
Thinking is not required. So do you guys go in? Do you guys go behind the bear like one after another in a line, or do you just all go in a group, a cluster?
Is Sunny also going?
No, he's just standing there.
Enya will go up first.
Enya, you pass through when you walk behind the teddy bear, it looks like there is just like normal beach and sand, but the closer you get to it, the more you see that it looks like it's almost a mirrored surface. It's an illusion, a trick of the eye. Moving past where that mirrored surface is pushes you through, not necessarily like it's almost like a quicksilvery type liquid, and you vanish once you get through it entirely. Does anyone else want to go through immediately after? Or
Yeah, Towner will go.
Okay. I'm going to assume one by one you'd all pretty much. Is there anyone who's hesitant about going through?
I feel like Gladia's hesitant, at least for a little bit. Eventually, she'll probably go through.
Okay.
Yeah, Blue just watches a few people and then she just goes right ahead.
Yeah, once you get through, first of all, get through the entire mirrored wall, you end up on the other side of what looks like just the beach where you were, except for the fact that there's nobody else there. not even one another. You're there by yourselves, and temporarily, it seems that nothing has happened, except that it's empty now. But otherwise, you're where you were. Until, of course, you do hear that kind of low, scornful almost, oh, kind of chanting that occurs. Stepping on the other side of the mirrored portal kind of brings you to a place that is like the beach that where you just left, but you see that once the chanting begins, the horizon stretches out into this endless land bridge across what looks like two rivers of just the deepest red you've ever seen. And there are what you can only describe as invisible hands pulling you along this land bridge. As I said before, none of you really can see one another, but you can see there are shadows being dragged along this land bridge as well. Some of them to, and some of them from the location. Every other figure just looks like a shaded, kind of almost swirling mass of smoke and darkness. The further along the land bridge that you get, the more that you can tell certain actually depends on how much you want to look. I'll say it like that. Is there anyone that cares to examine what is in the water, or do you just want to get this over with as quickly as possible? Because I'll tell you, it is rather unpleasant.
Considering I've got a neat secret sniff, I feel like Claudia would kind of be drawn to finding out what is happening in the water. Like, I just feel like she would probably get a little curious and then get a little too curious.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a gaze roll against a passive difficulty of we'll say 4. You'll succeed regardless. It's just a question of how traumatizing is it. Before you manage to keep your wits about you as you realize that the rivers are filled with bodies of screaming people that are apparently trying to cling to the shore. They're naked. And they are, as you can tell, the more you look, you can see that the rivers are boiling. There are just naked people screaming and trying to get aboard this above on this land bridge and can't quite seem to make it.
Ooh, that's unpleasant.
There are, you notice 2 hands that are reaching out in particular near where you can see. One is wearing black gloves and seems to have on, you can tell is maybe a suit, a red suit. The other seems to be the hands of a woman. You can tell just they're slender, pretty beautifully maintained hands. These 2 figures are kind of on opposite ends, so as you're being pulled along, you can only maybe possibly reach out to save one of them. Which one would you like to try and get out of the water as you're passing by? Or, well, whatever it is, the boiling red stuff. It's blood.
I'm actually gonna flip a coin for it. So, see, 1 is for the man, 2 is for the woman. Yep, the man.
So you pull a man in a red suit out of the water. The woman drifts along screaming, cursing your name. She is being pulled along sort of in the same direction, but not on the bridge, and seems to be in agony. The man kind of gets out and, first of all, is a mess, of course. He is soaked through with blood. He is, it looks like, bandaged on the face, but otherwise, I mean, he exists, and he thanks you, of course, for bringing him out of that, because that's a fucking terrible nightmare. This man eventually, once he is out of the water, begins to grow back some of his skin, which had been boiled off. And then finally, he stands up and begins to adjust his suit, which has begun to dry, and kind of drifts along next to you for a bit. See, I'm sorry, I didn't bring everyone to the new app. He looks like this, and this is where you are.
Oh my god.
Fucking
Quick, push him back!
Abel.
Put him back!
Yeah, we did it.
For those of you who weren't here last campaign, Abel is an NPC that shows up occasionally and is he's a little disorderly. Abel begins to comb his hair, kind of getting the blood out. and then just up nods to you, Claudia. All right. So, what are you doing over here? You going to Japan? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, I'm going to Japan
Yes.
too. Great, thank you. A lot of forces
problem.
tried to keep me out. Now I get to be free. Appreciate that. They're gonna love me in Japan. I'll be big in Japan.
I'm sure you will. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, he kind of finger guns at you, and then you see him kind of casually reach over and shove one of the shadowy figures but into the water. Yeah, that's what I thought. And he points at that shadowy figure he just pushed. See that guy right there? He just drifted by, didn't do nothing to help me. So now he's gonna swim all the way to Japan. I get to take the bridge with you suckers. That's what it's about.
It wasn't very nice.
He kind of like starts like shrugging a little at you, and then you notice like a gun drops out of his sleeve. He just leaves it on the ground as he's sliding along.
Do you want that?
What?
There's a gun that just kind of fell out of your pocket there.
He kind of narrows his eyes at you. Hey, wait a second. Where you from anyway?
I'm from Guam.
Oh, okay. And then you watch him as he turns around and starts walking backwards against the pool. The force of that, whatever that force is pulling you. He's kind of muscling his way against it to walk backwards towards Guam. Or whatever you feel like he's walking basically the opposite direction.
Watching this confused.
Like ghosts are like shoving into him, pushing him over. Shades are knocking him around, but he's kind of muscling. Yeah, he's just brute forcing his way back towards Guam until at some point he vanishes into a crowd of shades. Yeah, he's gone now. So, yes, in the future you may have released Abel from hell so that he can go to Guam.
Way to go.
Hey, I rolled the dice. The dice violence. So
It's true.
As for the rest of you, your journey, if you choose not to resist or otherwise investigate the water, it's a strange kind of, we'll say, 10-minute-ish or less expedition across a land bridge. It's almost like being on one of those just moving floors at an airport, people mover. You're just kind of like gliding along, hearing, of course, the screams of torment from the river. Otherwise, once you get across, you are kind of ejected out into a relatively bright and sunny location, a beach, but not on the shores that you recognize. You are all people of the sea, so you kind of, or people of the ocean, so you kind of like know a beach from a beach. They don't all look the same. They don't all smell the same. They're just not all the same. Where you are is a place with foreign sand, foreign waters. Even the smell in the air is different sea life, different everything. It's not like Guam, maybe isn't like anywhere you've actually ever been, because most merfolk don't usually end up going to Japan, but that is exactly where you are. You wash up on the shores of a little place called Morio, and there to greet you on the other side is Sonny Fortuna. When you get there, he blows like one of those little party favor things, to celebrate that you've made it over.
Fascinating. There are multiple of you.
No, I just took the shortcut.
The shortcuts through the rivers of blood.
Oh, is that where you went? Yeah, no, I just took the nice. There's just a stairwell that you can take.
there is.
Mm-hmm.
But then we would
Where?
have missed out on lunch.
What do you mean lunch? He narrows his eyes. You didn't eat anything while you were over there, did you?
There were kind of bodies swimming in there.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's special effects. It's a
No.
Yep.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
literally pulled the body out from it.
It's food coloring.
Do you mean the water?
Yeah, the water's just food coloring. Yep.
Oh, because
I
it looked
speak
like
what
people were boiling.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
I speak what's your mouth?
He kind of he looks at you. Did you? He points at you. I speak. Did you drink any of that you saw, the food coloring water?
What tastes like food?
I speak. He's immediately going to leap at you and begins trying to stab you with his knife.
Okay, I'll just let him stab me.
Yeah, he rapidly stabs you with his knife. You hear like every time he stabs. You don't actually feel pain, but you can see like wisps leaving your body. They have like faces formed in them of screaming mouths and like outreached claws. But
I thank you. I did not realize I had passengers.
Sonny finishes what he's doing, stabbing you, and then gives you one last poke with the knife. That one actually hurts. Sorry, just had to be sure. He sheaths the dagger back into its flute casing. I don't know if you've ever read mythology, but when you're in another place like that, do not drink or eat anything. Except for here. You're safe. Well, actually, that's not true. Welcome to Japan, everyone. Thank you for coming. You may be wondering why it is that you're here, why I've gathered you, why he kind of just begins to stare off into the distance. He's blanked out.
Dear? Hello? She just kind of snaps her fingers in front of him.
Yeah, we're gonna go back and do whatever magic thing to make that better, right? Back there?
He wakes up. No? Oh. What? Yeah. He looks down at his watch. Oh, okay. All right. And then he kind of just adjusts his suit. Right. Sorry, I just daydreamed about something. He looks around again, and he actually does legitimately look confused.
Was it a nice dream?
What are you talking about?
Your daydream.
Oh, right. So, and then he takes out his Uzik and begins flipping through it really quickly. Oh, right. Okay. It says here, Sonny, if you're talking to somebody and you forget why you're talking, go through your itinerary. Go through your schedule, and then he just starts going through his schedule. Oh, yes. Why you're here. There is an area near Morio that has been flooded severely, and no matter how many times the curses seem to affect water levels or flooding in this region, that one particular area remains submerged. And not only that, but every time we send any divers in, they don't come back. So, this is a bit of a mystery. And on top of that, we've even had reports that there are members of the Jaguar clan apparently causing trouble here in Japan. Now, normally I would send out Higashikata contacts to take care of it, but they're a bit busy. So,
They haven't disappeared or anything?
Well, he kind of starts looking a little bit more nervous. Well, there is that. They also seem sort of familiar with the area, and they say that like maybe with that concentration of like strange occurrences and disappearances, that they'd rather not. It's dangerous for humans, to say the least, and they're all human, samurai, but human. So, but for merfolk like yourself, if you were to get dragged beneath the water and held there for a couple hours, you wouldn't die. So that is kind of maybe part of what we're dealing with. There also may be something to do with a psychic virus. I'm not sure. Not sure.
Would you specify?
No.
I mean, that seems kind of important.
Okay, fine. The mind virus seems to affect anybody that stands near the shore of this submerged area. So far, only humans, but I suspect that it might be able to infect merfolk as well. The kind of, practically speaking, hiring somebody to come out here all the way to Japan usually is a bit of a pain. Not to mention the fact that, I require the utmost discretion when, if you were to go into the submerged area and find a certain thing, that it would be returned to the property holders, which is us, Dorabo Corporation. We own the rights to the materials that you may find as well as the technology. And you are also not to take any pictures or write down any evidence, serial numbers. You're also not supposed to describe it to anybody. If you're invaded by a psychic, you are supposed to resist it. Resist the psychics. He just starts rubbing his forehead. Just resist it.
What about souvenirs?
Oh, like what?
Like, say, what about a pack of plumgies?
Sure, that sounds fine. Is there anything else you need?
Small toys here and
Yeah.
there, maybe?
Okay.
Some
Small
ramen.
toys. He takes off his glasses and offers them. You need these?
No?
That's weird. I woke up one day and I was wearing them, and then he puts them back on his face. Been trying to find out who owns these, and it doesn't matter.
Do they actually assist you with your sight?
No, they make it worse.
Then why do you wear them?
Free glasses.
You could consider popping out the lenses.
I could. Well, I'm not that adventurous. We should get going to your accommodations where you'll be staying for the duration of your trip here to Morio. If there are any objections, of course, to anything that I've stated so far about your mission parameters, feel free to bring them up to me directly. I wouldn't want to bother the chairman with anything trivial. This is sort of my time to shine, you understand. If I am able to prove that we can undertake this mission, carry it out successfully, and retrieve the how do I say this? Package, then I may in fact be able to move up in a promotion. You know, I could be a higher ranking member of the Dorobo Corporation, in which case, then I could finally get an apartment with windows, which it would be amazing.
This package, it has something to do with national security, or it would make sense for police to retrieve it, right?
Yes, actually, that is technically very true. It does have a lot to do with national security because if. Okay, you know what? Let's reconvene at the First Light Inn, and then I will be able to tell you more about this because, quite frankly, talking about it out in the open seems like a risky proposition. Even if there is no one else around that we can see, there are always invisible ears everywhere and eyes too. And also, he looks around very carefully. Yeah, somebody could use some sort of time manipulation. And he starts to get very nervous.
Okay, yeah, we could go to some inn, sure.
Huh? He's already holding a gun when you say something.
She has her hands up. Hey, easy.
He looks down at the gun. Oh, huh. And he puts it back into his coat. All right, welcome to Japan. And he starts shakily walking away.
I think we follow him.
Yeah, I will start following him.
He leads your group down to kind of a group of cars that are all being driven by the familiar bastards, the robots that he keeps under his employ that seem to follow his commands. They are Dorobo Tech, humanoid robots, decent drivers. They don't speed, which is important for modern safety. You will notice that once you get into the cars and are being driven around, first of all, the people on the streets look questionable at best sometimes. Like they'll look like normal people, and then one of them will just be like have their head kind of hanging off at the neck. There will be somebody that is like twice as big as a human should be, kind of lumbering around. At one point, there is a dog with a man's head that's kind of jauntily tapping along next to a man with a dog, a man that has the head of a dog who is walking him. And the man with the dog head kind of turns into one of your cars and waves and says, "Whoop!"
Oh.
I wave back.
Yeah. The man head starts barking at your car. Hey! Screw you! Stop going so fast!
We're not even going that fast.
Hey! Don't talk back! As the car is like leaving, you can just hear the dog with the man's head screaming at you, just being belligerent. These are the streets of modern Morio. The further in you go away from the beach, the more you begin to see a bunch of oddities. Occasionally, like there will be a person that just has like blue skin, for example, and a very nice shirt, just kind of like trying to talk to somebody on the side. Looks like they're trying to hustle small business. You will be able to pull up eventually to the First Light Inn, located somewhere close to the heart of Morio. Is a very nice looking hotel, pretty tall, 5 stories, very nice lobby. It looks like it's recently received some small renovations to bring it a bit more up to date, more modern. It's clean. There's a ramen shop outside of it. But otherwise, it seems like actually pretty good digs. Maybe not as nice as a lot of the places that you've seen in the upper ends of Guam and Stella Maris because of all the new money that's flown into the city. But pretty nice. There is also a woman who is waiting at the entrance of the First Light Inn. She looks somewhat. It's hard to actually tell. There's something familiar about her for you, Claudia. First of all, looks like she just came out of the water.
Oh dear.
In fact, she's soaked with blood.
She's probably like, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah. First of all, Sonny, when your cars all pull up, Sonny is like in one of the cars with you, and then he'll see this woman standing outside of the First Light Inn, and after you've all gotten out of the car, he acts like he's getting out, and you see the woman begin to move towards the car, with her arms open, kind of expectantly, and then you see Sonny immediately get back into the car and slam the door shut, and the car begins to take off at top speed. It's like he almost did it to like fake her out or something, but yeah, he's gone.
That's concerning, I think.
And you're
How
like
does she have
scared.
her arms out? Is it like come hug, or is it like I'm
Yeah.
going to strangle you, or
It was come hug.
okay?
Hey, you know him?
She turns to face you. Who are you? Yeah, I know him. Are you trying to steal him from me?
No.
She just slowly leans forward towards your group. If anyone tries to steal my darling from me, I'll absolutely kill them. No questions asked.
He's all yours, ma'am.
Good, because I'm going to kill him.
Good luck, ma'am.
She just turns and like slops her wet hair around and begins to walk off in a huff. You can see as she's walking away that she's actually hobbling because her foot is broken, and she's actually walking on the bone which has emerged from the flesh. So she's just walking on a broken ankle bone, not her foot. Just dragging along, scraping the ground with bone. You hear her.
Do you need some assistance with your leg?
She'll spin around. Why?
I believe I could reset it.
She looks down at her leg. Oh, you mean this? It's the latest fashion. It's a style here in Morio. Walking on your bones is fashionable. It's in vogue.
I see. I'm not one with these trends.
Oh, yeah? Watch. And then she'll just purposefully step on the other leg to break the ankle of that one too, so that the bone pushes right through. And now she's just standing on two bone stumps with her like legs sticking out to the side, broken.
Without batting an eye, she says, "Oh, you are even more fashionable."
That's right.
What?
Watch. And she just starts strutting around like she's on a model, like a catwalk.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. Stop. You're. She's clearly in shock. Yeah, we need to get you to a hospital.
I'm in shock, quite frankly, but yeah, we gotta get her to the hospital, like you said.
Enya's
Is
trying to
there,
like grab her like by the upper arms.
is
I
there
don't
like
believe there is a hospital for the dead.
Yeah, when you go to grab one of her arms, the arm comes off.
Oh, Enya's screaming.
This woman screams, "You've killed me!" Ah! And then she just falls over. Like you can tell the blood is streaming out of her very quickly.
Enya's just screaming louder.
uh,
She's holding up this arm.
Claudia is kind of trying to put her arm back on?
Yeah, the thing that you're trying to put the arm on looks like a withered husk now. All the blood has been kind of quickly exsanguinated from it in a geyser that seems to be just shooting straight up and not coming down. Wherever it's going, it's kind of out of view and either vaporizing or something's happening. But it doesn't take long for her to just be a withered husk, and you're just holding a perfectly healthy looking arm.
Claudia just stares at the arm for a minute, and then probably casually tosses it away.
Okay.
Aw, but free arm.
Claudia, give me a gaze roll. Passive difficulty 3. Yeah, you pass. You notice that the arm gets up from the ground, like on its fingers, and begins to stretch out a little, and then nerves begin to crawl out of the stump, and the hand just kind of like casually begins to walk away.
Okay. Just kind of stares for a long minute, and then just that happens.
You hear in the distance someone screaming. What is that? Get away from me! And then a kind of cracking sound and a gurgle.
Enya's gonna go try to run after that in that direction.
If you go in the direction you heard the scream come from, you will find the kind of what looked like twisted, shredded clothes, couple like a dropped bag full of what looked like supplies, probably a office worker, but no body.
Oh, this place is really messed up. She's just gonna go back to the group, looking a little dejected.
The car with Sonny will eventually come back. He will step out. Hey, sorry, I forgot something that I had to go do. Which is a believable lie. You guys ready to go check into your rooms?
Yes.
Great. Is she still here?
No.
She died.
Who was she?
Her arm is somewhere though.
Yeah, her arm kind of animated and.
So who that is? That is my fiance.
Congratulations.
No.
No? Alright.
That she is technically a curse.
How
I
would
thought
she be
you.
cursed with a fiance?
It's funny you should mention it. Well, I was out trying to cleanse a curse from a small town, a prefecture actually. And then the curse, apparently is some kind of love curse, and here I am, engaged to a curse. I'm looking for a way to get a divorce, but it's actually much more difficult than you could believe. It's also I didn't agree to being engaged, and the good news is that I'm sorry, there is no good news. Do you want to see your rooms, or you take a tour around the city, perhaps around Morio? There's plenty to see. I hear there's an alley where you can disappear and be dragged into the netherworld, but
Is there a way to come back?
nope.
No tour needed.
No tour then. Maybe just tell us where the alleyway is so we can avoid it.
I forget.
Hey, let's just go see our rooms.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I guess just don't go down alleyways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
avoid
I mean,
alleyways.
it is.
Once you get inside of the lobby at the First Light Inn, first of all, you will notice that it looks like it's recently been heavily repaired from fires and other sorts of damage that have occurred. There are still specks here and there of strange rainbow paint that have been splattered along some of the walls. And of course, also waiting inside is that woman wearing a completely different set of clothes. Sonny just walks by her like she isn't there, but she eventually just reaches on and clings to him and then jumps onto his back, starts kind of clawing at his face harmlessly.
How do you claw at someone's face harmlessly?
Well, you can see the claws, which look very sharp, digging into his skin, but not drawing blood. And he's kind of wincing, but he's just kind of, pretending she isn't there. This is my fiance, Marisa Tomiya. Tomiya, these are the employees. Technically temps, contractors, cops from Guam. They're not Japanese, Tomiya. Tomiya is just kind of clawing at him, whispering curses into his ear. And you can tell that her face looks significantly more undead than it did before. Very pale skin. Eyes have begun to bleed. Really horrible, actually. But Sonny doesn't seem to care.
Greetings.
Yes, it is a pleasure.
It is. Once you get to the elevators in the inn, Sonny casually takes a knife out and kind of stabs into her side with his that ritual dagger that he has. She screams, ejects off of his back like a spring-loaded cat, and then begins to scurry along the wall and vanish into the shadows. Sonny resheathes the knife and presses the button for the fourth floor. Here we go. So, Japan is a nice place for people to visit, I hear.
Not liking it that much already.
I feel pretty traumatized.
Really? It is fascinating.
It's certainly something, all right.
He takes out his Uzik and watches an incoming news report. Oh, says here, expecting. How do you guys do in the desert?
Not too well.
Why?
Tomorrow's forecast is for a desert, but don't worry, you'll be underwater, I presume. Oh, I guess if it's your first time here, you may not know how this works, so I'll explain it very briefly. Japan as a whole is under a curse, one that kind of does a lot of different things, but mostly there are continuous apocalypses, and then they're reset the next day. Sometimes it's nuclear holocaust, other times it's a nuclear winter, floods, mass lightning strikes, that sort of thing. I think everyone turned into giants one time and just started eating each other. It just kind of runs the gamut. Oh, one time everyone's skeletons fought back against them. I hated that one. That was horrible.
Okay, so
Did your skeleton fall out?
Oh, not mine. No, I'm immune to curses.
All right. Very helpful.
that's good. I think. Although it did kind of backfire with your fiance.
Yes, Tomiya is. Well, she's a pretty girl, but I think she comes on a little too strong. And I think that she might be like 1,000 something years old, but that's, you know, look, I'm all into sort of the younger man, the older woman, maybe kind of dynamic. I'm sure it has its place. And we as a society really need to come to accept the differences in age sometimes, between consenting adults. But honestly, 1,000 year age, well, 1,000, yeah, 380-year gap might be a bit much to overcome.
Oh, you know her exact birthday.
I'm really just guesstimating based on what the monks have told me when they tried to seal her away and then were massacred brutally.
That is a lot of human tradition is candles.
Was that candles?
Yeah, for her birth cake.
Ah, candles. So maybe if I did 1,400 candles, I could seal her back into the hell from which she sprang.
You sure it's a hell she sprang from? Or, I mean, what if it's like a revenge thing that she's under? Like under hell? Or would that be like a limbo thing?
No, I went out with a revenge spirit in college, and well, he does air quotes college, and no, it's a different type of vibe. It's much more rigor mortisy kind of strangling, and a lot of like bringing up of crimes and such. That were committed by whoever wronged them, and also for some reason other people got involved and they didn't need to, like a journalist, and he got killed for no reason, and then his curious niece followed up on the notes, and then she ended up accidentally unleashing the whole thing, and he just like goes on and on describing this long string of revenge killings by an angry spirit.
So, what attracted you to her exactly?
To who? To Maya? Or the revenge spirit?
The revenge spirit.
Shishiko? Oh, well, nothing. No, she just started attacking me after I stayed in an inn.
But did you go out with her?
Yeah.
Was it this inn?
No, not this inn. It was a different inn. Oh, there's no revenge spirits here, I don't think. Are there? He looks around. Hello? Anyone need to get revenge? And then he kind of like hides a little bit behind Towner. And then he peeks out. All right, seems clear.
Did you have a bad breakup with her?
Well, I mean, technically, sure. She's seeing
dear.
someone else now. I think someone took a picture of her and then included it in like some kind of online blog post. And now she's just kind of cursing all over the world. It was to save themselves, I believe. I don't know.
That sounds irresponsible.
It does. It really does. I hate when people do that. Well, we are on the 4th floor, and the elevator does open with a ding. You all have rooms individually, of course, that you can feel free to make yourselves at home in. They are all unoccupied by spirits or people. I promise there are no ghosts in your room. If you see any ghosts in your room, call the front desk and have them removed.
Sounds fine.
He will wait in the elevator, and then he won't leave. Actually, he won't step out onto the 4th floor.
Is there like a continental breakfast or room service or anything here?
Room service, maybe. He just presses. He begins to jam the closed door button. Yep. He keeps jamming it. Eventually, he's not able to close it quickly enough, and you see a large arm kind of hold the elevator door open, kind of from out of nowhere, as a cyclops with a single horn kind of ducks down and enters the elevator, having crawled out from the shadows. Being this close to them, you notice that the cyclops smells like rotten onions and old newspapers, like very disgusting rotting odor. Sonny sighs when he sees this. What floor? Cyclops turns to him in Japanese, perfectly fluent but old Japanese, says, "All floors!" And then runs his hand up and down the buttons. And Sonny goes to reach to try to get out of the elevator, but it closes shut before he can get out.
Oh no!
I think I have
I'm
doomed
sure it'll
him
be fine.
for at least an hour, possibly 2.
In the meantime, you all have
Mhm.
your different inn rooms here at the hotel. They are well, inn. They're very small, cozy. You can choose to either just sleep for the night or get together and talk about some of the details of your case, which will be forwarded to your Uziks.
Ooh, what's it say?
Well, what it says is you will be traveling to a particular, it's a flooded dam. It used to be a functional electricity generating dam in the area. However, it has since flooded and been destroyed and is rendered ineffectual. The area within it, it was in a small valley. It has since been flooded. When the dam broke, happened, you will say about 20 years ago, longer. 2 decades, as far as I can tell. Its structure had already been weakening, and something impacted with the whole structure of the dam and caused it to burst. Subsequent curse cycles have not cleared out the water from this flooded area, and whatever has been in the water has made it extremely dangerous, even by Sunny's standards, because they do not. You'll see that there is a specific note from Sunny. It says curses reset at daybreak. But this one doesn't. And then underlined, bolded, underlined, that this one does not break. Whatever's in there is not just cursed, it's something else. It doesn't elaborate on what fell, and it doesn't elaborate on what else might be down there. It only just tells you that whatever's down in this flooded valley at the bottom of it is both valuable and dangerous. That is really roughly it. You also get, well, there is some intel on the Jaguar clan members that have been moving through the area. They seem to be investigating this for reasons that they are not able to communicate, because none of them seem to speak Japanese and nobody speaks any of the languages that they speak. So the reports just say that they're running into hostile foreign samurai who are violent, and that Higashikata clan is only good at keeping them from, causing trouble in Morio proper. As far as like trouble in and around the valley, it's a little bit more difficult to enforce what these Jaguar clan people are doing. They seem to have been camped out here for at least a month or so. Where they came from or who's leading them, nobody really seems to know. So, with that in mind, again, do you all want to like get together to have a powwow about the information, or you just want to deal with it when you deal with it?
I think we'll deal with it.
I want some ramen.
Yes.
Mikey
Okay.
Mikey can't pass up getting ramen.
Some of us are hungry, apparently. Not Ice Peak, she drank.
Yeah, I had a meal.
So the owner of the First Light Inn is a woman who, would Amy still be wearing the same getup now that she's like an inn owner?
Oh yeah, obviously now she has even more of a reason to wear it.
Is she still running the ramen stand, or is she paying somebody else to do it? She's gotten some money. I mean, if she's part owner, she technically doesn't need to as a living anymore.
She'll pay someone else.
Okay. And then you are fucking your NPC is the one who is the owner of this establishment. Who is it that you would hire to work at a ramen stand here?
Would any of the demons be up for it? Or spirits, rather?
It's up to them. Any of the spirits that you made during that session, would they want to work at a ramen stand, or is it beneath them?
It's not that it's beneath her, it's that people would see her, so
I mean,
that's a big no.
maybe maybe Raven might do it as part time, but probably not full time.
Part-time, then, Raven, a spirit who possesses a sort of deathly aura about her, with tattoos that look quite criminal, and a pair of sunglasses, is running the ramen stand part-time. Most of the other spirits or individuals that come to the ramen stand seem a little perturbed that the normally sweet Amy isn't there, and instead it's a more, I won't say rude, but cutthroat stand operator does this part-time. If any of you want to order from Raven, feel free to do so. I'm guessing it's, are you just like taking food back to your rooms, or are you just like going down to eat at the actual stand itself? Eating at the stand could help you to gather information and intel, I guess, about the surrounding area.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would rather sit there and eat and enjoy it.
Mikey, you are someone with a high level of gaze and a high ability to perceive things that are odd. This is, you can tell just sitting here and eating ramen. You don't even need to roll for this. This is the most haunted place you've ever been in your life. There are ghosts, spirits, spooks, disembodied heads, eyes. You swear at some point you just see Satan walking around a corner. It just looks like actual horns, red skin ass, just a devil. This is a very odd place. In fact, the moment you stop paying attention to your surroundings, you see that there is a small, what looks like a mushroom with arms and legs, grabbing an armful of your noodles out of the bowl and trying to walk away with them like rope, like just coiled around its shoulders, just trying to like haul off some of your noodles.
Oh, can I help you?
It just begins to pick up speed and run.
Oh, you could have just asked.
It jumps away off of the counter, and you can see that there's a bigger mushroom and then a mushroom with a piercing through its cap, waiting eagerly for these noodles. Once they all get the noodles together, they one of them throws the noodles up into the air, and they kind of click their, if they had heels, they'd click them together as they jump up and run away with. It's just like a fork full of noodle for you, but for them it's like a lot.
They could have just asked.
A massive disembodied head kind of casually floats down next to you, Mikey, and comes to a rest on the ground. It just looks like a giant, angry, somewhat fat head. I'll say it's about probably 12 feet tall, chin to scalp.
Oh, that's so much bigger than I thought.
Yes.
So just like sitting next to me.
Yeah, just like sitting next to you, but taking up all the space at the counter.
Mikey will turn his head a little instead of just like poking his eyes out and talking like forward. We just go,
"Hi, how's it going?"
It just slowly, it's one of its eyes looks towards you and the other one looks towards the counter, where you can tell now it's extended its tongue to pick up a pair of chopsticks and dig into a bowl that is starting to scoop into its mouth. The head kind of just nods for a second after it eats just a small amount of noodle. It says, "Oh, that hits a spot. What is it that you need?"
Oh no, I was just saying hi. It's my first time here.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Mikey. What's your name?
Otoshi. But don't tell anybody about that.
Oh, your name?
What is it
Or-
that's your, yeah, my name.
Okay. Okay. Is that a thing?
In the old days, yes. I used to drop out of the forest and then crush people and then eat them. But these days, all I eat is ramen and people still.
Oh. Okay. Well, I mean the ramen's good at least.
It's okay. It's not the best. As he's saying that, he looks over at Raven with one of his eyes. They're moving independently. And then his eye goes down towards the flash of steel that shines in the light of the sun, and then he kind of looks away. I mean, I've definitely had worse, and this is pretty good. It has the right amount of umami to it.
Mikey will like an eye will like pop out like from under his hat, and then another eye kind of poke forward. Just go, oh well. It seems like we've
got a couple of different things in common.
He nods. Well, as much as he can as a disembodied head.
Just kind of like a rocking motion.
Yeah. I've heard so much about foreign spirits and foreign creatures, but I haven't seen too many of them because they don't come through Morio too often. But you are, what is it? Are you a swamp creature?
No, I mean I'm technically a merfolk. We're kind of new to history, I guess would be the best way to put that. I mean, we do kind of represent like fish in different marine life, so I guess if there's any spirits that are like that, then we do that.
Otashi nods his giant head once and nearly knocks over part of the banner above the ramen stand. He quickly goes to adjust it with his forehead, push it back into place. Ah, a child of the sea, different type of thing. I hear stories about how your kind sing at sailors and cause them to wreck. That sounds like a pretty good meal. All those sailors in salt water. Ah, he just starts rocking back and forth with laughter.
Yeah, Mikey will kind of do like a chuckle, like out of being nice, and just be like,
Yeah, I mean, we actually do have a pretty good singer here. She's probably she's just working on stuff. Who knows? Maybe she'll play.
Hmm.
Since I don't know how long we're gonna be here.
Have you ever considered, says Atashi, killing all the humans?
No, actually, I work for the police department in Guam, so my job is quite actually the opposite. I usually try and keep them alive and stop that.
You work for the humans, even though they are delicious and they scream?
I mean, I work with them, and yeah, and I guess technically for them to keep them alive and safe.
There is nothing more disgraceful than someone who is a human's pet. Don't you agree? As he says that, you see his tongue fly right out of his mouth, severed cleanly. The head, in a panic, begins to just roll away, and the woman at the ramen stand who was serving you is just holding a sword out, which she quickly just resheaths very cleanly and neatly. There wasn't any blood, but there is a giant tongue flopping around on the ground.
Oh, I guess he struck a nerve.
She sucks her teeth and then closes the magazine that she was reading and pulls down her sunglasses. Yes, he did. Some of us actually take joy in our job when it is reasonable to take joy in one's job, profession, whatever it may be. Murder is one, sure. Being a cop, she narrows her eyes at you, which I assume you are.
Yeah.
She pushes her sunglasses up. I have a lot of experience in this field. I've been doing it for a long time. Cops like you come and go through here, but this is the first time I've seen one of your kind, merfolk. So it's good to see that they're adjusting their standards, hiring the right people.
Oh well, I'm glad you think so. I want to try and help out, and there's already a lot of negative stereotypes with mer people, so whatever we can do to combat that.
She seems to be trying to read you. You can either allow her to get a better read on you and what you're doing here, or you can try to poker face it. It's your call, but she is going to try to roll.
No, I'd say Mikey probably doesn't have the best poker face, so he can probably get red.
Okay. She seems to quickly be looking you over, and then when you talk, she kind of nods her head back and forth a little. Huh. Okay. You're from an island, but I don't know which one. Hawaii? No, couldn't be right.
No, we're from Guam.
Ah, Guam. Never been. Adjusts her sunglasses again.
Oh well,
And then
I've never been to Japan till now, so
she kind of walks over and picks up the large dangling wiggling tongue on the ground and then walks over to a trash bin and then dumps it right in. A little bit of advice then. Whatever it is that you've come here for, being a cop, be sure to know there's a lot of crimes that necessarily can't be solved with a badge. It's the only way I can say it. And in particular, because of your nature and because of your profession, I can imagine why you've been brought here. There's something lurking in the waters near that dam,
Oh, you know about the dam?
the
What?
Hiroshino Dam. Yes, that one, I know all about it.
Oh, we're um. Are you also a spirit? Were you around when it was?
It's
I
rude
guess
to ask somebody that.
I thought it was gonna be. So
Mikey just like you obviously don't see his eyes, but his whole head just kind of shifts down into the bowl.
It's fine. To answer your question, yes. And also, what was the other part of your question?
No, I just I mean, what do you know anything about it? We weren't given a lot, and I don't know if that's intentional or not.
The Hiroshima Dam was one of the small accomplishments in this region, just civil engineering. I didn't have much to do with it, and I didn't have much interest in that area to begin with. What did interest me, however, was that 25 years ago, give or take, something crashed into that region. At first, other spirits just said it was like a golden light or something. But then, over time, the dam began to weaken, spirits began to flee. Things were happening there that weren't normal. Uh, as she says that, the trash can behind her begins to wiggle and thrive, and she gives it a quick kick, and it settles down.
Okay. So there was a golden light. I'm assuming you can't see that light anymore?
Oh, we can see it. We can definitely see it. What, you can't?
I haven't been to the dam yet.
Hmm. You'd be able to see it from here if you were able to see it at all.
I guess I take a look out from under my hat. Do I see like a weird golden light?
No, you don't.
Huh. No, I guess I can. That's weird. I can pick up a lot.
She points at her own eyes. You need the eyes of a spirit to be able to see stuff like that. She points at your eyes, well, around at them, may have special eyes, but they are not the eyes of a spirit.
Right. Right. Okay.
I heard a
Well,
rumor that Doribo Corporation had been selling something or pushing something to help people see that way. But that sort of black magic and alchemy is distasteful, honestly.
yeah. Oh, that kind of that's an interesting point. What do you know about the Dorobo Corporation?
They came in here, took over about a month ago, said that they had the rights. We put up a fight. We got split ownership. So we stay here and take care of the inn.
Oh, wait. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. So how long have they been around?
Not long, I don't think. They popped up around the same time. Yeah, 20 years ago or so.
Okay. Hmm.
I know what you're thinking. The Doribo Corporation fell out of the sky.
I mean, either that or something they owned fell out of the sky and they need to get it back.
She shrugs. That could be the case. Don't know. There's so much chaotic, well, energy around that something like Doribo could just slip in at any moment. The only reason they stand out is because they stuck around. Most disasters and curses just go away overnight, but Doribo Corporation, for some reason, continues to persist. We don't even know who their head honchos are or anything. And trust me, I've been contracted to find out once or twice. Couldn't do it. She just shrugs. And by find out, she just, I actually mean, and then she draws her thumb across her throat.
Oh, okay. I don't know who they are either. I know that's not any help to you guys.
Well, if you happen to find out, I could buy that information from you.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I would have to. I guess we'll see what I find.
Good. That information could be very valuable, especially to someone like me. She nods her head and then serves you up a free bowl of ramen. In fact, here, I think this is how you bribe cops, correct?
Oh, no, no, no. I don't take bribes. I mean,
Okay, then it's a favor. And then she winks and pushes the bowl towards you. A favor.
right. Well, thank you. I didn't get your name. Are you usually the person working here? Are you the owner or?
No, I just do it part time for a laugh.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess I might see you again. I don't know how long we're gonna be here again. It's really
dependent upon. And Mikey, like, he scoots his chair back, and like it's probably awkward, so that like it's there's like that sound of like a chair like kind of like as he gets up, and he's like, well, I gotta go, okay, and he just leaves, just walks as quickly as he can away.
She just watches carefully, and then like slowly pulls back the second bowl of ramen. Humans have really upped the ante on bribery, I see. So you've learned a little bit, Hiroshino Dam. Any other research about that area will tell you a few things. One is that the area around Hiroshino Dam is actually strange in that the grass grows kind of like pale colored. The wildlife similarly is pale-ish, sickly almost. Whatever's in the water seems to be not suitable for swimming or drinking, so they've had to take containment measures. But any attempts to purify or clean or exercise the area seem to have been unsuccessful. As a result, Hiroshima is seen as mostly it's been written off as an area for people to like live in or to use for anything around Morio, and there are do not enter signs posted all around the small region, the valley where this now lake, Hiroshima Lake, is has formed from the broken dam. The lake itself is a source of illegal fishing. Sometimes people fish stuff out of there and try to eat it, and they get very sick. And likewise, anybody who goes swimming in it also gets pretty sick. They show symptoms like almost like heavy metal poisoning. So, like their liver starts to break down a bit. They have heart and brain problems, that sort of thing. And unlike the other problems that happen in Japan, these things do not go away. On sunrise, people are still sick. So, generally speaking, not a good idea to go into the waters at Hiroshima.
Well, it's a good thing we're gonna go right in there.
Yeah, good thing indeed. Most of you.
And I said most of my body parts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We will probably be able to just zoom right through the hotel stay because I don't know how much you want to actually like investigate around there. There are different NPCs available who can try to answer any questions that you have, depending on what you want to know. Claudia, your room has very weirdly, strangely nice silk bedding that's been put in, as well as helpful charms that have been laid around your room.
Probably doesn't question this.
Okay.
Although she probably does get a little curious, like, is there like spider webs all around the room, or is it just like a silk bed? Worry.
No, there's no spider webs. It's pretty clean. Although you do notice at some point there is a pretty medium-sized spider just crawling around near your bedding. Give me a gaze roll against a passive difficulty of 5. Yep. Normal room.
Okay.
Pretty normal. You just sleep there overnight. As you do, you will take let's do this real easy. 3 mental stress. Throughout the night, something seemed to disturb you, but it's hard to say what. Just made it so you couldn't get very restful sleep at all. However, because I would assume you don't lash out or anything.
Nah, I mean, probably not. She's probably just exhausted from everything.
Yeah, you'll be able to clear that off pretty quickly, I imagine, because it's just stress. Good. So I'd roll a 4, it'd be a consequence, but you're fine. In the morning, somebody requested a continental breakfast, I believe.
Yep.
The continental breakfast is ramen.
She's not gonna deny it, but she might save up a complaint later.
I mean, to be fair, it does have an egg in it, so I guess that counts. Other people, yeah. Other people that are gathered for breakfast here include these individuals. They seem to just be enjoying a meal, not really too concerned with your appearance or presence. If you want to ask them anything before you depart in the morning, feel free. The figure to the furthest left is a blue-skinned individual, not unlike the one you might have seen on the way there, wearing quite fashionable streetwear. Very charismatic individual. Another is just a very pretty woman in a robe who has very long black hair and is enjoying a bowl of breakfast ramen However, when they eat, you notice that they actually take the chopsticks and put them behind their head, and then the noodles are gone. And then the third one is the one to the right that you already have met, Marisa Tomiya. She also has very long curly hair, and when she eats the ramen, she simply stabs the chopsticks into the bowl and then takes whatever she's kind of like forcefully wrapped up and then tears it off of the chopstick along with a layer of the wood splintering off. Like just basically bites it off, and she just keeps eating it like that. Her mouth there's a few splinters sticking out of her gums.
I feel like she'll probably look to the blue guy and go, "Oh, just out of curiosity, do you know any place to get something? Let's say toys for some kids."
The blue guy, first of all, he puts his left arm up onto the counter that he's sitting at, and it's like covered in armor, like a very strange looking, almost like layers of paint. He's since like decorated it with more stylish airbrushing and a giant watch. What kind of watch would Otako wear? Silver or gold?
Silver.
Okay, yeah, very nice silver watch. Would he know where to get good? His whole part of his backstory involves like the amusement of children, right? Wasn't that a thing that with the red
Yeah.
and the blue oni? So would he know actually a good place to go get things for kids?
Yeah, as much as it pains him to admit it, to kind of modernize the story of the red and blue oni, the red oni could have a very popular, like, kind of Toys R Us, like, kids kind of chain restaurant, not restaurant, but like
Store,
toy,
like
yeah,
a
toy store,
toy store.
clothing, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's the whole like kind of branded thing of like, go here and get all your kid stuff.
Then begrudgingly, the blue oni will tell you exactly that information. It seems to be causing them actual pain. To admit, the arm that they have up on the counter, it looks like pretty fucking tough. You've probably seen like merfolk and Dagonites that have had physical enhancements. This guy looks like he's maybe like up there with being able to, like, if he threw a punch with that thing, it probably really hurt. But you do get the information on a local toy chain. Gotta come up with a name for it now. Raduni Toys, English pronunciation of Red Oni, if you couldn't tell.
Awful. And she'll just go, "Uh, thank you so much. What's your name?"
They'll tell you his name is Otako. I
Thank
just
you.
work around here. I'm a life coach, so if you need any lessons on how to spruce things up or get it cracking, and he kind of snaps his fingers on his armored hand, producing a loud, kind of almost metallic crack. It's actually quite sharp and even a little musical. Just let me know.
I'll definitely take you up on that. After work, however.
Wow, yeah, it's still flashy, even though he rolled all zeros. Thanks, +3. It is of a significant enough gesture to impress you. However, you may not need lifestyle coach services. Maybe you do. Maybe you want to do a makeover. Who knows? This might be the guy to help. If you're in town and you need anything involving a change of course and how you're dealing with something socially or mentally, a taco can actually provide you with some assistance and insight on how to. Well, his services are lifestyle coach, but he knows sometimes a better approach. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're having difficulties with your investigation or any action you want to take.
Makes sense.
The other two are also available. Generally speaking, the NPCs in the First Light Inn are available as they sort of kind of work for Dorobo, but not really, to provide you with some kind of service. Although Marisa Tomiya is not formally employed by Dorobo as a, whatever it is she does. She's just the fiance of the secretary to the chairman.
So kind of grandfathered in a way.
Yeah. Keep in mind, just these are the ones in the lobby. If there's other ones that you want to try to grill for information, I think you mostly have Raven, and Amy is not a spirit, but she is the owner. I don't think anyone's going to be able to find Dalco. Maybe Mikey could. I'm not sure. Your exploration into Morio is kind of
Could I roll gaze and see if I see her? I just want to know.
yes, absolutely, go for it. It's passive difficulty of 6. Oh,
That's a 4.
You wanted to say
No, I
Yeah.
just wanted to see. So I don't.
You see they're skittering sometimes at the periphery of your vision, but it's hard to tell exactly what it is. Something big and insectoid.
Time to just chalk it up to ghosts.
Yeah.
Insect
Why not?
ghost.
Here is your map of Greater Moria once you've had your breakfast and decided to do a little bit of like walking about. Welcome to the modern Moria map. There's 5 locations in particular that you should, I guess, keep in mind. One is the Amy logo you can see over there. That is where you are staying. That is your first light in. There are 2 Dorabo facilities, one to the south directly of the inn. That one is just a sort of warehouse where they've been keeping some of the things that they've been acquiring within the city. The one, if we're going clockwise, directly below the M is another research facility, a lab though in particular, and one where they've been doing some kind of thing underground. Sonny has generally advised that you not bother anyone there. And then finally, towards the far left, you'll see that Hideto is here because that is where the Higashikata estate is currently located in Morio. That is where the Higashikata clan stays, and they may be able to answer any questions you have about the Jaguar clan or just local history. They are one of the oldest families in the region that still are here and functional. Yes, there are seagulls.
I don't know about you guys, but I sort of want to go check out the samurai situation.
You want to check them out? Okay.
I'm down because they clearly know something about what's there to be spending a month going after it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it seems like the first place to go.
And I guess it's a good way to introduce ourselves without it being a fight. Because if we're both like in the dam, I don't want to have to be like, we don't mean any trouble, and then getting murdered super hard.
Sonny's clearly like,
Crucified?
yeah,
Yeah, that too.
just more info. And these guys don't talk crazy like Sonny does, so.
Hideto is your contact there at the Higashikata clan. You've met him before. You know he likes to play games. Are you guys all going there? Or are you just sending in Enya?
Claudio, come along.
When you get to the gates of the Higashikata estate, first of all, they're closed, and there is a small, fat child with long, noodly arms waiting at the gates with a stick in his hand, kind of waving it and beating it at the metal harmlessly. Can't do much to it. It's just a stick.
Does Enya recognize this kid?
Yeah, it's that kid.
Hey, what are you doing here?
The noodly armed kid, will turn around and then point at the Higashikata estate. Here for a duel.
Yeah, they owe you something, huh?
Then he just when you say "oh," he immediately seems to fly into a frenzy and begin rapidly beating the stick against the fence.
Oh, hey, I'll mention that you're here. It can't be that serious, kid, right?
The noodly armed kid looks at you and then points a stick at you and says, "Life is pretty colorful, huh?"
Sure, yeah.
And the kid nods and then goes back to attacking the fence. Like I said, the stick isn't actually being damaged, but neither is the fence. So he's just making small plink noises. I'll wait out here. Tell Hideto I want his change. And that's all he's doing.
Okay, well, we'll be sure to let him know.
Hey, I know you're a good fighter, but I'd stay away from him if I were you. He doesn't like kids, from what I gather.
The noodly armed boy looks at you. I'm not a kid.
Oh yeah?
I'm a man. He's clearly a kid.
Yes, you are, little boy. Make sure to beat that Hideto up when he comes out.
I'm the strongest samurai in history. He's still attacking this fence.
Well, he did beat me up pretty good there, so yeah, maybe you are.
Yeah, sorry. He actually turns and bows to you. And then goes back to attacking the fence.
Is there like a way to announce themselves? Can she like text?
Yeah, there's just a ringer. There's like a buzzer.
Alright, yeah, she's gonna elbow that thing.
The response you get from the Higashikata representative inside is that, well, first they want to know who you are, and I'm assuming you say that you are the police from Guam. The door will open. There's a voice over the other end that says, "Hey, don't let that kid in here, though."
Okay, yeah, no problem.
The small, noodly armed boy waddles slowly over towards the gate once it's open. Will you allow him to get in, or will you try to stop him?
She's gonna politely gesture, like, no. Sorry.
Roll negotiate against a passive difficulty of 3. Yeah, he acts like he just nods along like he's gonna do it. What you say, what you ask, but then he's slowly sliding towards the entrance. And then
Listen. Now, come on. It's pretty impolite to cut in line.
the newly armed boy looks at you with a big smile on his face and he says, "Even though I'm a samurai, I've been studying how to be a ninja. Watch this." And then he takes 3 bags of dirt from his pocket and throws them on the ground, creating a small cloud. "Ninja, vanish!" And he starts wobbling away towards into the gate. He trips actually, and then pushes himself back up and goes back to pretty clumsily making his way into the Higashikata estate.
She can't be mad at that. She's gonna let him go.
This kid, whoever he is, eventually waddles off, and you hear dogs barking and growling.
Oh dear.
He'll be fine. Inside at the Higashikata estate, there are many people kind of lounging around an entrance area near a garden that extends out into a rather large grove where very strange fruit grows. These fruits have taken various shapes. Maybe they were once apples, for example, but they've grown into the shapes of bananas. There are oranges gathered like grapes, smaller, almost like mandarins, but they are citrus fruit, yet they grow on a vine together. All sorts of very odd hybrid plants exist in the grove beyond the garden. And within the garden itself, garden proper, there are exotic flowers that have not been seen anywhere else in the world because they simply don't exist outside of this garden. There are flowers that look like they have almost human faces, like they're like busts or cameos in a classic, almost Roman style, pale, almost dusted looking, with arms outstretched or hands clasped in prayer. There are also almost hypnotically swirled rainbow blossoms and blooms, lotuses, that kind of curl around one another and create a very strange tornado of hues. All of these sort of dangling and positioned around the main area of the garden where there is a nice table for receiving guests, cushions to sit on, and of course, members of the Higashikata clan. Hideto is the only one you recognize. There are 2 others. One wearing an eye patch and having very shockingly green hair, and another a woman who is, we'll say, very short but broad in shoulder, wearing fuzzy shoulder pads that are feathered. She seems to be almost hunched over like a crime, a criminal, like a mobster. Like she is tending to a cup of tea and kind of trying to just emphasize certain qualities about the flavor and the coloring about and why it's like necessarily wrong, and not just wrong, but an abomination. She seems to be very passionate about this. The other 2 are just humoring her. Hideto like pretends to be listening and then looks over at your group and is almost relieved when you enter. He motions over. He says, "Forget about the tea. Here's our guests." The woman huffs, but she does in fact stop talking about the tea.
Oh, Enya straightens up. She doesn't really know what the etiquette is, but she gestures around. "Hey, you have a beautiful garden here. Sorry to interrupt."
"Don't worry about it." Hideto kind of waves it off. "Sonny dragged you all the way here. Finally, I see. Did you take the road through hell?"
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. No, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rock and roll.
Met some people along the way, and yeah, not too pleasant.
Some people say that, but once you go through it once or twice, it's pretty good. It's quick, way quicker than an airplane. As long as you don't fall in, it's fine.
Yeah, that seems like a bit of an oversight there, but
One time I did it on a motorcycle.
Wow.
that's kind of cool.
It was badass. I did wheelies and did a flip kick off of some dead spirit. He was pissed. It was awesome.
It wasn't a revenge spirit, was it?
Probably. Fuck those guys.
The Japanese people have my respect for their resilience.
Kind of leans on his like chin on his fist and pouts a little when you say that. Yeah, I guess. It's not like the old days though, what I read about. People in Japan are just always overwhelmed with all the curses and everything. So, yeah, I guess they're resilient, but they're also kind of wimps. Why can't they just be badass like me? If a ghost tries to come into your house and steal your firstborn, set him on fire. That's all you gotta do. And if that doesn't work, hit him in the head with a hammer. And if that doesn't work, break a bottle up his ass.
Well, not all people are like you, clearly. That's unfortunate, but that's just how sometimes it is. So you can't always expect everyone every time to be resourceful like you.
And awesome.
Yeah, Hideto just kind of accepts all the praise. He seems to cheese. Yeah. Quit buttering me up. What is it that you're here for anyway? You're here to get information, right? You want to know what makes the Higashikata the most powerful samurai in all of the world, right? That's what you want to know. I'll tell you, it's one thing and one thing alone. We were born to fight curses every single day. We fight curses, we deal with them. Ever since they haunted our ancestors, our great grandparents, we decided no more having to just sit here and let curses come to us. We go to them and kick their ass.
That sounds wonderful. We did also come here to know a little bit more about the Hiroshino situation.
The Higashikata clan members look at each other and begin to like uh, wither a little. Yeah, well, that one's not a curse, so you know it's not as easy. It seems to be some kind of hazmat situation. I don't know. Maybe it's mutants or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Does that mean you're not sure what's down there either?
Hell no. You think anyone's willing to swim down into that mess? Definitely not. And any machines that try to go down there also get pulled into it. Well, it didn't used to always be that bad. It's just lately. Maybe, yeah, around a year ago or so. Maybe a little longer. Couple months? Strange things started happening inside of that lake, the Hiroshima lake. It was like before, it was just normal polluted water with a, well, I don't know. Some people say a golden light. I see it sometimes, but not all the time. No, now it's like there's something down there, like a monster or something, but we're not sure what it is. And the worst part is if you're there too long, you start getting this idea in your head. Something like, hmm, how do I say it? Like, sort of a whirlpool or something. That's the only way to describe it. It starts to take away your thoughts. And eventually, if you stay there long enough, your will to live, like a curse, but not quite. I thought it was a curse, but it wasn't.
Huh. Yeah. Sonny was saying that there was a security issue having this thing, since it doesn't go away.
And that
Right.
seems to cause anyone who goes near it to go insane, would you say?
Yeah, insane. And not just that, they spread it to other people around them if we're not careful. Somebody who's been there and been, we'll say, infected for long enough can just spread it around. We've had people, for example, scavengers, people looking for scrap go into that area. There used to be a couple warehouses down in that region in that valley. So anyone who wants a little extra metal money can, I guess, make their way down there with some diving equipment and try to pull something up. Some people are hard on their luck, try to do that. Not a good idea. You go back after you get your medal, see your family. Next thing you know, they're not feeling so well. The doctors don't really know what's going on with them. Sometimes they end up, well, like zombies. Other times, he leans forward a little. Sometimes they just turn into crystals, cocooned human beings trapped in some kind of material. But the crystal itself is carbon, supposedly. Silicon mixed in with it as well. It's like some matrix or something. The thing inside of it, once they crack it open, looks like a person, but it isn't. It's like some kind of white, wet, fetal human thing. Disgusting. The whole thing's like filled with milk, I hear. Sounds sick. Like an egg. Turns people into crystal eggs. Isn't that fucked up?
So if they're made of crystals, presumably you see that they're actually made out of crystals? But human crystals? Is that a thing?
What do you mean, is it a thing?
Like, is it a thing that humans can turn into crystals? Or is it like, it just sounds so weird.
Are you asking me if people can turn into crystals? No. No, that's not a thing. We can't. He looks around at his fellow samurai. We can't do that.
So, there's been activity from other samurai.
Yeah, I guess you heard about the Jaguar clan trying to move in. A couple of their weirdos started showing up around the shores of Hiroshino. Sometimes they try to go into the water, sometimes they don't. They have special breathing machines that they use, helps them to push back against the contaminants and whatever else is down there. They've lost at least one or two. And then we show up and ask them what they're doing. They like to throw down, which is fine by me. It seems useless. Not only that, it's not even that good of a fight because those that are down there, kind of sickly, kind of gross, honestly. Some of them have even started to turn into crystal themselves. It's like they don't even realize they've been infected. So I don't even bother with it, honestly. Because what happens if, like, I cut one and it bleeds and gets on me? It's going to infect me with that shit? Not worth it.
Possibly.
I'll wait for them to try to crawl their way out and then take their head there. Mercy killing, you understand.
Yes, I think I do.
It seems like they might know something that... Alright, I think that's enough info for now.
Sure. You guys want to take some fruit with you?
Sure.
If you're offering, sure.
By the way, what kind of tea is that? I saw some when I came in earlier.
This tea? He points at the cup of tea that the woman was criticizing.
Yes.
It's a very rare tea. It's called the death root. Comes from a land where graves are constantly roiling around, spinning beneath the earth. The result of this constant spinning is that the soil is aerated in such a way that it spreads grave mold everywhere. This in turn infects the plants that are around it, the herbs, and in particular, this one type of flower, the deathroot flower. It's the only place in the world where this sort of thing can grow. The conditions are perfect for it. As a result, the tea itself has a rather earthy flavor. Almost like smoke to it as well. I assume from all the funeral offerings, the pyres, the incense, that sort of thing. Drinking a cup of it is like drinking a funeral. It's pretty metal.
I can't disagree with that.
Do you want a bag?
Sure.
Okay. Consider the fruit and the tea that we offer to you to be part of our hospitality in welcoming you to Japan. It's an honor to have you, members of the Guam police force, here. Really, totally an honor. And not only that, it's a blessing because you didn't bring along any of your samurai. Because if you had, it would have been rude for me to kill them while they were guests at my house. So you saved me the trouble. Thank you.
Question, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think those samurai will interfere with us trying to go into the water?
They seem to have gone quite mad. Not just them, but their followers. They brought a few of their crews with them. Of course, they've been dwindling down even faster than the samurai themselves. You might run into some interference from those types. You'll be able to see them pretty quick. Don't worry. They're starting to get pale, eyes starting to yellow. I think some of them started pulling their own hair out. So skin looks a little too big, rubbery, wet. They start muttering and whispering in some old language I've never heard of.
Gruesome.
Yeah. Not very cool. Not very metal.
Okay, sounds like we don't really have to worry about them.
Maybe. They'll attack anyone, though. So maybe you should be a little bit more concerned than that. You're not samurai, so not really my business, but I would say it's not exactly safe for outsiders, or anyone for that matter. At least locals know better than to go down there.
Yeah, maybe it might be worth scouting ahead, but Uh, thank you all the same for the information, the tea, and the fruit.
One more thing before you go.
Yeah.
What's the perfect order for a parfait? Points a finger at you, in particular, Enya.
Order.
That's right. Cream, fruit. What fruit where?
I would say the cream at the bottom so that the cake doesn't stick to.
Cake! He slams a hand down on the table. What are you talking about?
What kind of parfait are you talking about?
A fruit parfait! Where's the cake come from?
Sorry, it's a cultural difference. I misunderstood.
You sound like some kind of Harajuku teen over there. Cake in my parfait!
Cream and then fruit?
I'm starting to think I should have finished you off on that beach. He shakes his head.
Enya's gonna, kind of start pushing Cloudy out the door.
What's next, hamburgers, huh?
Thanks for your hospitality. We won't take any more of your time. And she's out the door.
Get out of here, you cake-loving freak!
I think you pissed him off.
As you're leaving, you can hear him yelling more. Hey, what are you doing here? Change? You're gonna die, you bastard!
Enya cannot get back to the inn fast enough.
Yeah, running back to the inn.
Yeah, so the fruits that you've gathered from the Higashikata clan as part of it's like a fruit basket pretty much, are all very strange and exotic. If you were to take a flight, you would not be able to take these fruits with you, but you're not flying, so you'll be able to take them home if you'd like. They have very odd properties, generally look edible, and actually, does Mikey see those at all?
Yeah, I mean, I assume eventually we would.
Yeah, you can give an immediate compel to. You can either pay a fate point or try to devour them immediately. On site, these fruit look amazing. They need to be eaten. This is like you're a plant eating individual. These are the most exotic, jewel like. This is like if somebody walked in with like a bunch of like steaks of the highest caliber.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to accept that. I can't not
Get
eat
it.
them.
Okay, you get a fate point back. You start eating the.
No, wait.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Enya's gonna protect hers.
Claudia's protecting some of hers.
Okay, you're not like so insane that you'll attack them to eat that fruit, but for a split second, you think, man,
I can do it.
you could do it. Yeah, you could do it, man.
I'm fast enough. They won't know.
Yeah.
I'll just get one.
The fruit. I'm gonna say you at least get a piece of it. You get a what looks like a plum made of like almost see-through, like translucent, candy-like kind of material. It has like red specks that are within the flesh that you can see through a light. If you even manage to take a look before you devour it, and when you do, it has the taste of, we'll say, like a very strong, almost bourbon-soaked peach, but completely natural, and the slightest aftertone of pomegranate. You realize what you've eaten is an extremely large, and by large I mean, like I said, plum-sized pomegranate kernel, like something that's been blown up, extended, and like then for somehow even had a slightest little bit of fermentation without going bad. A process that should technically be impossible. That makes it slightly alcoholic, but in no way strong enough to ever affect you. Like has like the alcohol content of like I don't know, like a very light wine almost that's like watered down with juice. In other words, this is like the fruit of high peak civilization, a fruit of art. If you were to give this fruit to a very cultured individual, they would decide that it is maybe the best thing that they've had. It is both the fruit and the wine in one. An impossible thing.
Enya's gonna be staring at Mikey as he's eating this. Like her eyes are all dewy in wonder. How does it... What's it like?
It's the best fruit I've ever eaten in my life, and I don't think I can ever touch food again.
And there's just like a sadness. Yeah.
This is maybe one of the eating this and being a kind of connoisseur of vegetables and fruits, Mikey. Actually, we'll say, give me a roll of your understanding. Perfect. Understanding passive difficulty 2. Oof. You can pass this, but you'll need to eat another piece to get a good idea of what it is that exactly makes this different. Otherwise, it could haunt you.
Sure.
Or you could fate point it, actually, now that I think
Yeah,
about it.
I was going to say, would that cost me a fate point to try and steal
another? Stealing another one is just you tapping into yourself. Stealing another one would be considered accepting the roll with, like, you get the result, but with complications. That's all. So you can either fate point it and avoid that, or you can save your fate point and get the information that you want without angering your friends by eating their beloved fruit.
Yeah, I'll pay the fate point. I'll use my motto, the know the enemy.
Perfect. Because eating this has taught you something about your own physiology. In consuming this, what you would call giant pomegranate kernel, you understand that the way that this was achieved, once you begin to get the fibers and juice, like, really between your teeth and your tongue and everything, like, and really absorb the molecules, this is a hybrid that was produced by combining very unconventional base ingredients to do something that neither the pomegranate, perhaps, or the grape or plum or whatever was used to make this. In fact, it could be several things, more than just two. The hybridization is what made this what it is. This fruit is actually maybe not the pinnacle of the idea, but it is like a very strong expression of the strength of the hybrid organism. And not only that, but you've had fruit before that's been high caliber, likely. They tend to be, if they're organic, smaller, or there's qualities that are lacking because of the pesticides that need to be involved in inorganic fruit or fruit that's been genetically modified. There's always a trade somewhere, an exchange of properties. It weakens the fruit in one way to strengthen it in another. But by creating this particular type of hybrid, they have resisted, you can tell, the growing season when such a fruit would be vulnerable to fungi and to pests, producing a perfectly ripe, delicious, and honestly immaculate product. In other words, while the one may have weaknesses, one aspect or another, one species or breed or strain of fruit or another, by combining different species of them, different strains, perhaps even mixing and meddling with growing seasons, altering different pressures, the Higashikatas have managed to produce this thing that is what one would call a perfect hybrid.
You guys can see he's just kind of like almost like almost like with like wine tasting, how you kind of swill it around your mouth. He's doing the same thing with the pomegranate at this point, and he's just like,
I don't know how they did it, but that's like the most perfect fruit. It is the most perfect fruit that it could become. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
No.
Oh, well, I guess just try one then and you'll know.
I don't want to. I'm scared.
Can I have the fruit basket then?
No.
and Mikey's just kind of
Okay. But if you don't want it,
I'll keep you in
give me
mind.
the basket.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's mine.
Fine.
With your fruit basket in hand and presumably information that the Higashikatas had shared, given to your friends, your next move could be either to the Dorbo, any of the Dorbo facilities, or Sunny, who's on the outside of the city limits, waiting to take you to the Hiroshino Lake and formerly Hiroshino Dam. Up to you guys. Your investigation into this matter has already revealed that you're looking at the Jaguar clan and they're probably compromised in some way. Some kind of virus, it seems. You want to just get right to the dam?
Yeah, let's go to the dam.
Okay. Sonny will let you know that it is dangerous. He can't be sure that you're immune to the virus that is, or whatever the infection is. He's not even sure. Tests have shown that it's not necessarily fungal. It's not necessarily actually viral, not bacterial as far as he knows. He doesn't really know much other than it affects the brain and seems to be replicated, in his theory, through thoughts and thoughts alone.
Well, we had a similar problem with Poppy, but that was more voice activated.
Poppy, what about it? You mean the pop star from Guam? That one? That Poppy?
What do you know of voice Dagonites?
Not a whole ton, I get. Well, a little bit. Daganites in particular, and I usually, he kind of thinks it over. I'm not quite sure how to say this without being offensive in some way, but I think of Daganites as, well, all of Avicii spawn in a way as being kind of like a curse. So the thing I know about them is that when possible, I remove them from the world, as is my duty.
So, what are we to you?
Like I said, I don't want to be rude.
Loud and clear.
I could, of course, be wrong about all of that. After all, it's not like, conventionally speaking, Avicii and Daganites fit the profile of curses in the way that I know them, but as far as I can tell, Avicii is something that lays in the ground, infecting the surrounding area, causing monsters to spawn, sending out these waves upon waves of abominations that attack humans wherever they are, from deep beneath the sea. To me, it seems kind of like a curse, doesn't it?
I have been in the depths. You are not wrong.
Glad you agree. Personally speaking, I find that most of your kind, if you don't mind me phrasing it as such, are perfectly reasonable in many ways. Those of you that aren't completely possessed of Avicii, of course. But I don't know exactly how long this sort of peace will last in many ways and instances. After all, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. Will the tides of madness continue to roll? Will Avicii's influence grow? Will there be a time when all of you awaken like sleeper agents and slaughter us in our sleep? Dorbo Corporation says maybe.
Well, we can assure you that those of us in the AQUA Unit are, how to put this, on the cutting edge of trying to, bridge things with people to show that we're quite reasonable.
Good. And helping me out with this matter will help to further Dorobo's understanding of just how peaceful and cooperative people like you are. The more we cooperate together, the more that we work towards a common goal, a common good for the world, the more that I'll be able to see you as allies and not possible potential enemies, which I don't need more of. There's always so many things crawling around and lurking in the shadows. Like, a guy can't even go to a temple without walking away with a fiancé that's trying to kill him constantly. The world's a hostile place. So it's good to have friends. Right?
She perks up. Yeah, actually. That's the way to think about it.
Of course. And friends invite friends into their homes.
That's true. Anyway, just point us in the direction of this, well, hotspot.
Of course. The Hiroshino Lake. Place where I've once had a picnic. I'm kidding. I would never have a picnic there. It's horrible. Ooh. It smells bad too. I hope nobody here minds.
After that whole crossing hell part, I think I can handle a smell.
You think that was hell?
Well, it wasn't?
Saying that was hell is like calling Guam country. It's silly. It was one hell.
There are multiple.
Yeah. Multiple,
Yeah.
of course.
Fascinating.
Well, that sounds about right for most mythologies, I would imagine. Yes?
Imagine for a moment what I said earlier about there being scars on the psychic tapestry, that being curses. Well, if we think of the tapestry as always in motion, always rolling with reincarnation, movement, birth, death, war, all those things, there are pockets that exist within that tapestry. Normally, that would be air. In this case, not so much. Darkness, maybe calamity, disaster. Places where the souls of sinners and the chaotic will eventually go. Those that lie, cheat, and steal drift into these places, every now and again losing their spot in the tapestry, the great weave and cycle. Those pockets are hells, and they exist all over the world. In every era, there's been a hell, multiple hells, American hells, Canadian hells, Mexican hells,
It
French
seems
hells.
that humans do not need our help to curse themselves.
You are indeed correct. We've been doing it for many, 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 many generations. Hells upon curses upon hells. But Dorbo Corporation is here to clean them up. You know, in the early 21st century, countries started to try to get a hold of something they figured was man made climate change. They did a pretty poor job of it. Eventually, they decided instead that it would be a good idea to colonize the moon, send all of their richest people up there to live away from the disaster, away from the wreckage of Earth. And for a time, I suppose that worked out, but this great psychic weave, the psychosphere, never forgets exactly what's been imprinted upon it. The moon now is, he looks up at the sky, locked away like some kind of gilded cage. Nobody knows what's going on up there. All those rich people, who knows what happened to them? CEOs, adventurers, travelers, people from Earth just trying to catch a lucky break, all of them have been up there for the past almost 3 decades with no contact at all. Even occasionally, he leans forward and quietly says next, there are reports of astronauts walking around, people from the moon who are looking in on us, trying to see how it's going. They're up there planning something, I think, but who knows what. Makes me
So,
paranoid.
so you're saying the moon is haunted?
Something has happened up there. Absolutely. If you listen to the harmonizers, which I don't put a whole lot of stock in, people went up there and became like gods. But that sounds crazy to me. Really, absolutely bonkers.
Sounds like someone's exaggerating, honestly.
I think so. Personally, I'm more concerned with Earth matters. The moon's the moon. Whatever. A bunch of stuck up assholes. Am I right? Right? Guys, am I right? No harmonizers here, right?
I don't even know what a harmonizer is. Is it like a flute?
You've never heard of them.
Nope.
Okay, well, I guess a little exposition wouldn't hurt. Harmonizers are worshippers of what they think are new gods of the moon. Those figures they think that were up there when it got locked away. They think that there are voices, figures up there that are stronger in the psychosphere than others that stand out, like representatives, columns or something, governors, whatever you want to think of them as. Known voices, known names and faces, figures that guide matters both on the moon and on Earth, within the psychosphere, of course, the great, great weave in which we all exist. Although I do wonder sometimes, do mermen exist within the psychosphere? I don't
I
know.
have, I have questioned that myself. Have you found a merman ghost yet? I think it is nice that we can be haunted. That means we have a soul to affect.
The thing about it is, I don't know that you do have a soul. I've never been able to confirm it. None of the tools that I have are able to read or register anything like a soul. If there is one in there, it's beyond my understanding. Not to say that, of course, that it even exists, but who knows? You could
Well,
very well have one. It's beyond just my vision, my ability to perceive it.
I have questions such myself. But either way, a black darkness, or I would prefer to going back to the bottom of the sea.
That is my theory, that eventually you return to Avicii and feed him the information that you received in life so that he can strengthen his forces.
Ah, a true hell.
Indeed.
Very
Sp-
much so.
Speaking of which, Hiroshino Lake may not be exactly a hell, but it's pretty close. And I've seen one or two in my time that looks sort of like that. One time I went to a lake that was filled with floating bodies that were all screaming.
Well, perhaps I can get cursed there.
Usually people laugh at that one. I don't know what the problem is. Hmm.
I mean,
What?
it wasn't exactly.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I delivered it wrong. It was hot there, but the lake was cold. So you could say that what they had in there was a little ice scream.
Uh,
I speak that laugh in like a chortle sort of way.
There we are. He kind of motions to I speak. Very good. See, now I still have it.
Enya's just slowly shaking her head.
Not even my kids would find that one funny.
Well, if we're all done having a good laugh at that fine joke, then perhaps we should make our way to Hiroshino Lake.
Yes.
Is there any preparations that you would all need before you go there?
Please don't make any more pun jokes.
I can try.
That's all I asked.
Aw, a pity.
Actually, do you have a good luck charm, maybe?
Good luck charm? For what? Oh, you think that they'll bring you luck. I get you.
What? Doesn't... If curses work, then surely good spells work too?
He takes out his dagger and then cuts off a small lock of his hair, then holds it out to you. Here you go.
Good as anything, thanks.
If you feel like a particularly strong curse is coming your way, throw this at it, and it'll come to me instead. Oh, but you have to recite the prayer.
What is the prayer?
Oh, it goes like like that.
Okay. Is there any like
Can I roll to memorize that?
Sure. Roll brain trust. Yeah, you can. You memorize it.
I have memorized it.
Really good. Quick study.
Is there like any particularly like do we have to do it a certain amount of times or anything? Or just how you just did it right there?
Oh, you throw the hair, you do the chant, and then you bow, clap, clap, bow, clap, bow, bow, clap.
Her eyes are glazed over.
Do I remember this too?
Yeah, I won't make you re-roll for it.
Okay.
You know what? That sounds like a pretty good luck charm. Alright, let's go.
All right, and I hope to see you ever again. Oh, wait, I'm driving you there. I'll save the goodbyes for when we get there. By the way, do you guys mind if I ask you a personal question?
How personal?
Not too personal. He gets into his vehicle. Just a normal looking black sedan.
Feel free.
Once you're all loaded in, he secures his seatbelt. Let's say that there were two of you. How do you determine which one is more handsome?
It is a matter of perception.
I think it's just more. I mean, it's not really that important. I don't think.
Every merfolk is beautiful.
Wow. A lot of answers here. Good. He starts up the vehicle. I'm going to go with whoever says it first. I am. Damn it. All right, we're going. He starts to drive. You can hear him cursing under his breath. As he's like driving along the path, you notice that trees, which started out kind of like lively looking, occasionally you'll see one that's like burning, just slightly on fire. Otherwise, they look like pretty normal trees along the road. Who's actually looking out the window and who's just like not paying attention to the surroundings? Blue, you haven't done anything for a while. Why don't you give me a gaze roll real quick?
Yeah, I was about to say she's looking out the window.
Ooh, wow. You see a body hanging from a tree. You see the next tree you pass has the same body hanging from the tree. And the third tree also has a body, and they all have the same body hanging from the branch in the same way every tree that you pass. And every time you're passing by one of these bodies, the body is slowly turning towards you, almost like animation, like a flip book.
I guess she'll ask everyone, guys, do you see that body that keeps reappearing, hanging from the tree?
No.
Sonny adjusts his rearview mirror. He seems oblivious.
Claudia just look out the window just to see if she can see it. But
yeah, when you go to look out the window, just to confirm, you don't see a body. You do see a rope hanging from the trees in the same place, but no body there.
no bodies, Blue. Just a rope. Kind of creepy, but just a rope.
Do they look like they could be samurai?
I mean, just a rope. But yeah, did they look like they had a samurai look, or did you notice anything, Blue?
It just looked like a body. You couldn't really get a too good of a look. It's just a human body, still wearing rags or something, kind of blowing in the wind but turning. So all of you looking out the window?
I speak just ask Sunny, do you have a date?
Sonny is just staring forward with his eyes open. Well, he has his the left side of his head kind of like facing you. He's just staring forward.
Is he the one driving?
He is driving.
Is he actually driving?
The car is starting to drift a little.
Oh, I reach over and put my hand on the steering wheel.
Yeah, you steady it. And Sonny leans over, and you notice the right side of his head has been, it looks like gored out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's like, you can't even tell what the fuck is in there. It looks fucked up. It just looks like part of his skull's been impacted in, and it's cracked. It's welling with blood and something else. But for right now, he's just leaning over with a cracked head. His eye is open like he is dead.
Oh, does he even have a pulse?
No, he does
Oh,
not.
it appears Sunny has died.
What?
What?
How?
Cranial damage.
Enya's gonna wrestle into the seat to try to get control of the car.
You're trying to wrestle. Are you just going to push Sonny's body out of the way?
Yeah, she's gonna push it towards the center.
Okay, Sonny's body flops over towards the center.
Oh,
He jostles about.
oh no.
Now that you're in the driver's seat, you notice that there is what looks like a plus-shaped hole right over through the windshield. It looks like it got cut right out of the glass. And if you were to adjust where the angle is, that's about where it looks like it's shaved right into his head. There's no mark on the back of the headrest where it just looks like it hit the head and caused this damage. You have approximately 3 rounds, I would say, because you hear something in the distance going, like making a screech sound, and that screech sound is increasing in intensity.
I need eyes on whatever the hell is making that.
Got it. I press my face even closer to the window.
Okay. Where are you looking, forward or to the side?
Wherever I think the screeching might be coming from.
Forward. If you're looking forward, you're trying to look down the barrel of where that plus sign appeared, then you give me a gaze roll. It comes a passive difficulty of 5. You can spend a fate point, you'll pass.
Yeah,
Or you can okay. What do you invoke? Your eye, I guess.
Yeah, this will definitely be an eye scout situation.
Okay. In the distance, in one of the furthest trees down the line before you get to Hiroshino Lake, there is what looks like a silvering glint that could either be a barrel or something metallic, but it clearly stands out in the light of the sun.
Yeah, I would go. Whatever it is that fired at us, it's coming from that tree, and I'll like point towards that direction. Should we take care of it?
She's just gonna drive directly for it, I guess.
Okay.
Do I still?
Yep.
Do I see the body there, or what?
Yes. Now you do see the body lining up through the trees. It has reappeared into the nooses and has begun to circulate down the line again. It is slowly turning towards you. Now that you see what happened, you can tell when this thing fully turns to face your vehicle as it's parallel, there will be a shot fired. That's exactly how Sonny got hit just now. So as the body's only started to begin to turn, but it will turn again fairly soon to aim at your car and probably whoever's in the front.
Am I still the only one who sees it, or
No, the rest of
does
them
it?
can now.
Okay.
It's pretty far.
In that case, she's not gonna drive directly at it anymore. She's gonna swerve to not be in that thing's path.
If you're going to try to swerve, roll breakthrough, because as you're trying to turn the car, you feel active force kind of trying to push you back. Yeah, okay, you're able to pass. It feels almost like you're pushing up against a wall, but there's nothing there. Once you're able to navigate your way around it, you can tell there's a slight curve, enough for you to turn like you want to. But basically what's happening is something is funneling you towards a point and shooting you down like basically a kill tunnel. It's trying to keep you going straight so it can just perfectly line up shots and fire right down it. You can tell that by the resistance that you got, but you were able to like basically navigate your way through that and resist it.
I think we should split up.
Okay, with a 4. Are you trying to decelerate or are you trying to accelerate? Like the vehicle? Or are you, like, because you mentioned you wanted to split up. Are you just bringing it to a halt?
She's gonna decelerate, actually.
You are going to need to pass a 4 again. So with a breakthrough roll to do that. Because otherwise you're going to maintain your momentum. Okay, you can. Although doing this maneuver, trying to decelerate with the momentum that's pulling you forward, and the same momentum is trying to guide you straight forward, like basically this is going to probably demolish the car. You can tell by the groaning of the gears, the mechanisms, how they're locking up and trying to push against some kind of active force against them. This will likely disable your vehicle.
Okay, she's gonna tell them to ditch the car, and she's gonna pull the door out and try to head towards that. It's like a tree, right?
Yeah, it's a tree in the distance at like the bend before you get to the lake.
Okay, yeah, she's just gonna try to make a bull rush with that door as a shield towards that.
All right. It's still quite a bit off. It's going to take you a while to get there. And that swinging body is still kind of like swaying. Anytime you look at it, no matter how far down the tree line you are, you will see it in the exact same position. It only leaps from tree to tree wherever you're looking, whichever tree you're looking at, and that counts for each of you. So if one of you were to be looking at it like 3 trees down from where the other person is, you'd both see it, but it would be also in the, like, it's also in the same turning position. Basically it only matters about where you personally are looking. That's where you see it hanging from, like, well, the trees, basically, where there are kind of the same nooses hanging from each branch. So no matter where you are along this line, this thing is turning towards you. You can rush ahead and split up like you planned, but it, you know, depends on you. Basically, you're trying to protect yourself with that shield, I guess, right?
She wants to be like a decoy, but I guess she doesn't realize that the others also, like, it's relative.
Okay, so you have one more round before it fires again. So you can tell the bodies are already almost turned towards the road, towards you. You can rush forward. Is anyone else? What do you the rest of you want to do now that you're kind of on the ground, broken up?
I mean, I don't know how long it would take Blue to get close enough to see if blind would do anything. I don't know.
I actually have a question. What is the closest body to us? It's a row, right, of them? Is there one on a tree closest to us?
Yes.
So you're close enough to blind that thing, at least, if it has eyes.
It has, we'll say, 5 doors. So yeah, you could just, like, one for pretty much all of you except for Towner. I guess you could just take the hood.
Yeah, I was gonna say either the hood or like the trunk. Just rip that off.
Did you want to try to blind the body that's swinging on the tree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We'll say your blind works within like a certain number of meters, like 15-ish. Sounds right. Maybe even closer, but we'll go with 15 for now. Give me a blind roll. Yeah, it's going to. Okay, you can succeed with a consequence, basically. You can concede or succeed with a complication if you'd like, or you can spend fate points on it.
What can I know what problem it will cause?
I mean, probably you're talking about someone that can shoot and you blind them, so you can guess. Like, they're going to shoot wild.
I will take a consequence.
Okay. You blind the figure, which kind of shrieks. Now that you're close enough, you can see that it actually looks sort of like a robot body with very thin, spindly plus signs sticking out of its ears on sticks or spikes, and also big O's for eyes that are empty. You can hear it howl, woo, as it spins around away from you to try and cover its own face. And then you hear a loud crack of what sounds like a rifle going off, followed by the screeching of metal and an explosion. You turn around to see what it is, or do you just keep pressing forward?
I turn around to see what it is.
So the shooter shooting wild fired into the engine block of the vehicle, which has exploded into a ball of fire, and basically just fired metal and begun to pull towards your group after having been turned sideways, and is now rolling around, bouncing on the ground along its original sort of path, coming towards you from behind.
When I get out, I pull Sunny's body out of the.
Oh, do you? Okay, that's
Yeah.
nice of you. Sunny's body will just be left on the ground somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, not bouncing towards the enemy. Yeah.
Yeah. The flaming car is currently bounding towards we'll say Towner and Mikey are the first ones to be in the way. Mikey, what are you gonna do with this thing? It's like coming up on you real fast.
Slide out of the way.
Okay. Give me a surfing roll, actually. With a +2 to your roll. You get a 1 because you're outside, you're surfing, went outdoors during the day. But that's not gonna be enough. Well, actually, let's see. 2 physical stress. That's not too bad. Like if you
No,
want to just
I'll take that.
Okay, so as you are sliding out of the way, part of this vehicle flips off and basically singes you, and like part of the metal actually embeds in your shoulder. But because you're quick and slippery, it just kind of like glides off after it does its damage. So you're not really hurt, but you can already feel like your human form isn't going to be enough to like deal with all this. You have a battle form. All of you do. What does Mikey's look like? Like his true hybrid form.
There was a picture a long while ago. I didn't save it, of like a traditional, like Guam native kind of like grass kind of skirt and like a chest piece with different stuff like that. I was thinking that would kind of be how Mikey looks. It would just be this mesh of like seaweed parts and like different plant life that he's kind of eaten enough of to kind of replicate out of his own body, since that's the basis of the sea life that I based him off of. And then he has the long shaggy hair, and then the multiple eye stalks that sit on his head, and you can kind of see just little bits of his, I guess, slimier snail body underneath all the like grass. It's basically just a giant like ghillie suit, but it looks like it's just made out of the local like flora.
Okay. Yeah, just like a weird swamp gilly man. What about the eyes? Do you have all these eye stalks that like pop out too?
I'd say you could probably, there's probably like 2 that stick up, but there's probably a bunch more like hidden in his hair, like on his head.
So you look like several lurkers within like the weeds almost, like
Yeah.
if there were a pack of hunters.
Yeah, it's a huge misdirect.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You see once you like spring out into this like form and shed your human form, first of all, feels great to finally be out of that. Second of all, you're much more aware of your surroundings now that you're not bound by your human physiology and appearance. You can pick up on things like the wind traveling a little better now you have all this exposed plant tissue just from it drifting around. And you can also pick up on the line of fire better. So you can tell right away that where the tree is located, all your group being where they are, the person that's next in the line of fire that would be the easiest target. Actually, give me a roll for it. Give me a gaze roll for it. It shouldn't be too hard. Passive difficulty 3. Okay. The person that would be the next in line to be fired at is likely to be Claudia. She is in a position where she's like off by herself and exposed enough. It would be very easy to line up a shot and hit her with the wind going how it's going. You can give her a warning if you'd like. I'm guessing you would, right? Like,
yeah, easily.
So yeah, we'll say that your gaze roll there is to give advantage to Claudia for the next thing that happens. Claudia, you don't even hear it before it begins to strike you, but you've already seen Mikey shed his human form, so it wouldn't be weird for you to have to do that, knowing that there's incoming gunfire. You have a very hard protective form, right? Because of your what animals you're a hybrid of. So reflexively, I'll say your body can react to this before your brain even would. Go ahead and give me a martial arts expert. Well, we'll see what happens. It's a 5. You have a +2 to your roll because Mikey did warn you to yell at you to get down or that you were in trouble. So I'll say that you take 3 physical stress unless you want to fate point that. It's up to you.
No, it's fine.
Okay. 3 physical stress then, as like that warning helped you to avoid taking very serious damage. You feel the crack of something very hard and metallic hit you. We'll say on the shoulder, near almost on your chest. It would have hit you on the heart. Not that that really would kill you as a merfolk, but it could do a lot of damage. It looks like if you were to look down, just a square metal piece of cutout. It's just a cutout plus sign that just got flung right into your chest at bullet speed. So yeah, just a plus. And for the record, though, you probably wouldn't be able to determine this. I speak would. That metal is magnetic, but no, it does not cause pain in your body. Next up, I will say the car probably passed over Mikey, allowing him to, like, he basically dodged it. Enya, you're kind of like at the front, so I'm gonna need you to roll to see if you can avoid damage from this fucking thing as it rolls past you. Go ahead and give me a, we'll say, suppress roll. Do you want to fate? Well, you don't have to. It would just do one physical stress. You can probably just take that without blowing a fate point.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you are able to kind of duck just in time, get like a little burn, but that's okay as this car goes flipping over your head and is now traveling much faster than you are. You have a few options. If you want, this thing is traveling faster than you are running. And even with your enhanced physiology, it may be traveling fast. It depends on you, I guess. You see your fellow merfolk are shedding their human form. You can sort of you can either do that yourself, or you can actually, yeah, you can surf the burning car basically if you want.
I was thinking about grabbing it and just riding it, sure, but it's not gonna be surfing.
If you want to do that, so what are you going to grab? The car that's like flying basically down the road?
Yeah, the car.
Okay. You're going to have to also shed your human form. It's just going to get burned away anyway from this like exposure. So you take one physical stress as you kind of like grab onto the car in its travel. What does your like hybrid form look like?
Oh god. So it's like this really huge, bony, spiky. She has a long tail, and she only has her two front limbs. Like, she kind of looks like a dragon that can't open its mouth, basically, because she does get like a snout now. So it's just a big, spiky seahorse thing. But she can still grab onto that car.
Okay. Your new weight upon it as you shed your outer like facade of humanity and embrace your true mass and like your biomass in particular actually causes the car to drag a little before it picks up speed again. I don't think any of your fellow AQUA members even seen your true form yet.
No, she's always trying to not be in it.
Those of you in particular, Ice Peak and Blue, recognize what Enya is immediately, and I'm sure actually Mikey would as well. Though for some of you, you don't often see this like in this condition in the daylight and out of the water unless it's gibbering and running at you and it has many mouths. Enya is an abyssal merfolk. She is from the one of the deepest depths of the ocean, nearest to the heart of Avicii, short of being a Hadal merfolk. This is from the depths, basically. You can be an abyssal from Atlantis. It's just not common. It's like a 1 in 1,000 kind of thing. You don't usually do. Atlantis accepts everyone. Don't be racist. The abyssal form of Enya is you are cruising towards this final tree where you see that up perched in the branches, still rubbing their eyes. They can't seem to get the blind that Blue put on them out of it. Is a figure wearing what looks like feathers that are colored like the tree's leaves. They have like metal on a necklace all around their neck, and they are pulling one of the pieces of their necklace off to load into what looks like a long plus shaped barrel with no trigger, no anything. It just has, it's just a barrel basically. They shove the metal into the barrel and try to rub their eyes, especially when they notice that you're coming towards them. This figure lowers their cannon at you and attempts to squeeze off a shot. And by squeeze off a shot, it looks more like they take a piece of metal on their palm and then drive the ammunition through this barrel, almost like a rail gun. This attack is coming at you almost point blank.
She's got a really long tail, so it's gonna lash out towards them.
I will give you the option here of landing your hit and bypassing their attack if you want to exchange blows. That's up to you, or you can try to defend yourself.
We'll go with the attack.
Okay, go ahead and attack. I guess breakthrough. Do you want to re-roll that with a fate point, maybe?
I was actually just looking, like, what can I even invoke?
Skull Coordinator. You could invoke, if you're having trouble, you can always ask for environmental things. Like you could say, for example, having seen the make of these trees, like their anatomy and everything, instead of striking at them, you're going to invoke the surroundings, the Hiroshino Lake limits. Knowing that you can strike at this tree at a certain direction and cause it to actually collapse with your tail if you hit it hard enough or at the right angle. Be an example.
You know what? Dope. I like that. Can I take that?
Sure. So go ahead and re-roll. Do good this time. Okay. The 4. So you strike at the trunk of the tree, I guess, to get it to tip over?
Yeah.
Okay. A shot, the metal actually punches through part of your carapace, your spiny outer core, and goes like right through near your collarbone. It looks like it would have been a fatal shot, except for the fact that you managed to cut through the tree and tip it over. So this person they got their aim knocked off just at the last second, enough to possibly save your life, because you can feel that this metal, whatever it is, cuts through you like butter. Like it would just go right through you. Claudia was lucky enough to be further away from it, but the closer you are, the more deadly it is. You take the mild consequence. You can mark off your 5 stress box and take the mild consequence, shattered collarbone. This guy that you're fighting, who's just wearing like a feathered mask, now that you're close enough, you can see that it looks like a bird beak with metal on the tip. He falls from the tree and basically hits the ground hard enough to crack his shoulder.
Is she close enough to talk?
Sure, you can try to talk to him.
Okay. In her distorted voice, she asks, "Stop fighting us."
The guy, whoever it is, says, "More monstro!" and lifts the cannon again at you. You can tell they're already starting to load in another shot. At this point, the rest of you can catch up. We'll do a popcorn initiative. Who do you want to give initiative to next on your team?
I don't think Ice Speak's gone lately, right?
Yeah, okay. I speak. You save Sonny's corpse for the funeral.
Are the bodies still in the trees?
Yes, they are.
I kind of reach up my arms, extending them as they become into leeches, grab onto the bottom of its feet and just like try to pull it down.
You want to pull it from the tree? Sure. Give me a leech roll, I guess. Okay, you do pull it down, and
Okay.
it falls right on top of you.
Okay.
And just like starts to weigh you down when you make contact with it.
Okay.
Without the tree holding it up, it seems to be trying to like wrap its arm around your neck.
I'm just kind of like turning into a pile of eels as it attacks me.
Oh yeah, okay. Even if you do that, it's still holding onto your head, eels. If that makes any sense, like it's keeping them bundled together.
Okay.
The rest of your body can disperse, but this thing is not only holding onto your head eels. What do your head eels do?
Bite on?
Just latch onto it? Do they? If they were to make it to the ground, would they try to escape?
If they can, but I think at this point we just like it's trying to grapple her, so she just tried to start to like grab onto it and drain it.
Okay. Well, it doesn't have any blood. It's completely dry. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's a dead thing, kind of. It's robotic.
It's robotic. Okay, so it's made out of metal?
Kind of. It's a stand.
Oh, okay. Well, if you bite a stand, doesn't it bite the owner? So I just start biting it?
Yeah, sure. The owner's blood begins to leak out of its body at the shoulder, where the shoulder it actually broke, giving it a bit of a difficulty. But I mean, it's still right now. Now that it has you like that in a headlock, it begins to spin around on the ground as if it were anchored around you, and aims its feet towards your friends and starts pointing at them like a compass.
Okay.
The shooter gets sort of to his feet and picks up his barrel and now has a ground level flat like plane to fire down.
I made it worse.
And he turns the cannon towards Blue, who's I'm assuming on her way towards the rest of you. This sniper, quick, agile, and able to load another shot, now has possibly the perfect shot at an incoming target, who it knows has already targeted the stand that it's using, the stand that this hunter is using. And at any moment, it could fire off this devastating blast past you, Enya, past Claudia, past Towner, and Mikey. It is aiming directly for Blue. And that is where we are going to say to be continued right now. With Mikey, Mikey in his merman form, probably watching, being able to detect that this metal fragment is about to be fired right out of this cannon at speeds that even he would have difficulty being able to track with his eyes. And a half-headed Sunny Fortuna lying on the ground next to a bunch of fiery metal. You haven't even made it to the lake, and it's already gotten very, very violent. To be continued. Yeah, that's the last thing you actually are able to see, Mikey, is the flash of light as this thing is fired with an increased amount of ripple energy, enough to possibly blind you. Oh, there actually is something, Ice Peak, you notice about I'm assuming we'll say for the sake of your habit, you might have left an eel to watch after Sunny's body.
Okay.
Two things. One, there are sparks coming out of the wound, and two, it has started to push itself up from the ground.
Oh, it's alive. Okay.
It's bleeding, though. It's not just a robot, and it didn't have a pulse. It has begun to stir. Its glasses are shattered, and it is just pushing itself off of the ground. And that's your to be continued. Hooray.
So these aren't our friends.
I mean, the lake probably made them go insane. And we're gonna go swimming!
I'm so excited for us to go swimming. Kind of.
It's a beach episode as soon as we get there.
We get to turn back into the fishies.
I will say in cases like this where you're outside of the city and you're just dealing with combat, there's really no reason for you to look like people. Like, you can just fucking go full were fish and just fucking go hog wild. When you're not in your human form, you are a lot more powerful too, technically, because you're not being restrained anymore.
I'm always a bunch of eels.
Yeah, the exception is like Ice Peak and Towner. They're kind of always like that, but the rest of you have to be bound up in some way. So, like, Mikey's gliding gets a bit more agile. His vision gets better. Obviously, Enya has advantages to being a giant spiky dragon, etc., etc. And Blue obviously would just be deadlier on average because you can just stab people like point blank, just fucking pierce through someone's skull. So next session we're going to be doing probably quite a bit more combat. As you can tell, some of these guys are not very friendly, but I'll give you all the opportunity, of course, to avoid combat if you'd like. There can be opportunities for, like, infiltrating this valley and lake without necessarily murder hoboing your entire way across it. That is an option, basically, and you can't expect more hostility from the locals. And by the locals, I mean the Jaguars.
I mean, I'd like to think we're better than just trying to murder hobo anyone we meet, but you never know. They might be
That's
insane.
what the cups are for.
The Robocuffs?
The Robocuffs!
He did give us a bunch of free ones. So.
Yeah, he did.
We're gonna finally get to say it, guys!
Say what?
Cuffed.
Oh. Nice.
We literally don't even know how to get back to the station, though.
Isn't he really dead?
We'll
No, he was
find
getting
out.
up from the ground. I hope you guys enjoyed your first day in Japan. Well, second
Sure
day actually.
did.
It was a good first day.
I guess a little trivia: the thing that giant head, that is actually a thing in Japanese mythology.
Is it really?
Tsurubi Atashi. Yeah, I'll post about it in the lore channel, I guess.
Yes, please.
Do it. You know, I just realized the Jaguar is basically everyone's enemy. They don't like racists. They don't like the Vici stuff. They don't like the vampires. They don't like Dorabo. Wow, I can't. They just hate
True
everybody.
rebels. Yeah, true rebels.
It's a very uphill. Very uphill.
It's an uphill battle, yeah.
All I'm hearing is we got to befriend the shit out of them.
No, we're with Dorabo, technically. So we'd have to figure out how to bridge that.
Has anyone figured out what the fuck Sunny's deal is? Probably not. I've heard clone.
Well, you
Thinking
said
about
sparking, so now I'm thinking robots.
He's still bleeding.
You
You
said
can be
something
both.
about like an amalgam of the ELO people. I think
Yeah.
someone said, and I think that's the closest I can
Yeah,
think.
That was
So
Yuki's
he's
theory.
that's still my approximation based on how everything he is with all of it is that he's
Yeah.
probably some runoff of everybody's goo.
That's gross.
In those weird. Well, there's all those weird vats, like in all the vat clones from the ELO.
They probably made ELO clones to like help them because that's like their original. That's they did it in the first place. So why wouldn't they do it again?
Contingency, maybe.
Yeah. And I guess if it's Lewis in there, I don't know.
I think it's all of them because
Yeah.
obviously
know.
they have a twin, so that's like either it's just because they're mass produced or it's legitimately some like rich vibes.
Well, there was a hint. There was a hint that there was a string between Yozan and Sunny. A string of malevolence, it was called. But there's like a black string between them, a cursed string. Well, I can't wait for everyone to find out on episode 58 when he dies for real.
Oh
man, I'm so stir crazy. I gotta know, who is Sunny?
Might just be like one can't die if the other one's alive.
That's a possibility. I'll also say regarding Enya's true form being Abyssal. So Abyssals are like any other type of merfolk. They don't always go evil. Some of them do manage to escape from the depths and, without being too controlled by Avicii, are able to lead somewhat of an independent life. It's just that they're often shunned by their fellow merfolk, and humans definitely don't like them. So they sometimes that's the only choice they have is Avicii and the Dagonites. That's pretty rare that an Abyssal would be accepted and then embraced by Atlantis and et cetera, et cetera. So she really is from Atlantis. It happens. It's just not common at all. And people in Atlantis
got really lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People in Atlantis are quick to teach you that it doesn't matter which height you come from, which climate, which zone. You're all the same, really. Some are more lucky than others when it comes to realizing that it's not good to just destroy all of humanity and cover the earth with death and destruction.
Yeah.
Look at the merfolk. In their short time, they understand the basic tenets of communism.
Yeah,
and class solidarity.
Yeah.
Better than humanity has so far.
That part is actually kind of a joke about how pillar men adapt quickly to things. I feel like because they're quick to adapt, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we shouldn't just kill each other because we look different. That's stupid." Or like because we come from different places, we don't need to destroy each other, guys. Yeah, you're right.
But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
No.